Breaker. You know, I really just wanted to come out here and finish our conversation that we started earlier. You see, since Braun Breaker's gotten NXT and took this place by storm, we haven't really had a chance to talk yet. And to be honest, where I'm at in this business right now, I really don't care. So I'm going to come out here and I'm going to tell you exactly what's on my mind. You see, every single one of these people in here know that if you didn't have that last name, you wouldn't have that championship. Ooh. Now, don't get me wrong, Braun. Braun, listen to me. I respect the hell out of you, Braun. I truly, truly do. I'm not saying you ate off a silver platter, but you damn sure ate better than I did. But that's what happens, right? Here in this business, I mean, your daddy was a legend. He's even got a Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was great. I really enjoyed him. I mean, he even had a Hall of Fame ring that shows that. But that's my problem. Everyone knows who your dad is, and no one knew who mine was. And that's fine. That's completely fine. But that's the problem. You get everything because of your dad. Your dad even got to sit right there and watch you win that championship. My dad didn't. My dad had to look down at his boy winning a championship. Now, I said I respect you, Braun. You are built like a freaking truck. And the worst part is that every single time you step in this ring, you get better and you get better. But what you don't have is my heart. And I'd put my heart up against any man or woman in this business. You know what? I'm tired of this cutting the line crap. I'm tired of this who's next crap. I'm tired of the catchphrases. Because if Cameron Grimes is going to say that he's going to the moon, then let's launch the damn rocket and let's go to the damn moon. Braun Breaker, Cameron Grimes, the Great American Bash NXT Championship.
This is Christian Rose, Old Evil, that damn coyote, Moonshine, Illinois' favorite son, the truth, the bitter lunatic, a man with so many nicknames even I can't remember them all, proudly representing those damn coyotes, King in the Valley, and you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following Sit Down Marks podcast is set for one fall. Introduce first your heel host that is always helping to spread the good word of wrestling, Dirty Bird. Next up, the co-host from the land of the rattlesnake, editor and producer, Primo. And finally, your co-host, straight out of your mama's kitchen, driver of the Grip Wagon, straight off a cliff, assistant editor and producer, AJ.
Hey, hope everybody's staying cool out there because we're staying cool here. It's time to talk a little wrestling for episode number 68 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm the Dirty Bird, of course, and that was TW Ward, the voice of Memphis Wrestling that brings us in. If you haven't ever checked out Memphis Wrestling, go give those guys a look. TW Ward always bringing us in each and every pod. We thank you so much. Today, AJ is going to be coming in late. He's going to be doing a little run in here later. But today, looks like it's going to be me and Mr. three-time Kurt Angle champion, Primo. Thought I'd give you a proper introduction today, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again. Kurt has made it safely. Any acceptance speech, anything you like to say?
He has. He told me when he got here how happy he was to come back home he spent most of his days here, and
Yes.
it's just, I gave him a warm welcome. I wiped all the dust off of him, and I made sure that he knows that he's here to stay. So that's right. I am the 3-time champion, Primo, and we are on episode 68.
Yeah, man. At this point, I'm probably like the relative that he don't want to go stay with on the weekend. And the parents make, you know what I mean? So I'll have to try to drag him apart away from me ever so often.
He said he don't want to talk about all that. So
right, yeah, he's supposed to put it behind him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know my bobbleheads over in the corner are probably missing. So
Yeah.
he was up there with my Larry Bird bobbleheads. So,
yeah, he's chilling next to chilling next to my Texas gnome.
There you go. Yeah. So, which is probably like his true family that kind of.
His brother.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. So just me and Primo for now, and the Kurt Angle Trophy has made it safely. So Primo will be holding that until SummerSlam, when me and AJ will once again pick against Primo to try to take that trophy away from him. If you're just now tuning in for the first time, the Kurt Angle Trophy is like our heavyweight championship, and we pick at each other, pick against each other on the cards for some of the big pay-per-views in wrestling throughout the year.
It is an elite level championship, so I mean, it's up there.
It is. I mean, I don't see why anybody wouldn't want it. So, but if you are tuning in for the first time, thank you guys so much on all those podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher. We're on. And of course, SportzWire online radio every Friday. It's not at 6:15, I figured, so I got to get that out of there. We're on a different time because Thomas comes on at different times. So I'm going to just say Fridays in the afternoons and the evenings, but we are played at least probably 10 times throughout the week, 6 to 10, and we thank them so much. So you can definitely be able to catch it if you're listening to SportzWire radio, of course, right, Primo?
That's true. Friday evenings, just go tune in to SportzWire radio online, and whether it's us or you're hearing another show, what have you, or you're catching the Rev live himself, but
number one.
Just hang out. You'll get to listen to us. You'll get to listen to Thomas Bryce, the number one show. So just chill out, hang out, and listen to all of us, and then make sure you go ahead and download the episode and leave us a 5-star review, as well as your precious words to let us know your opinion.
Yep, really do appreciate it. Let's get to that jukebox here today, Primo. Let's see what the old jukebox vault has for us.
Jukety box, what do you have this week?
Oh, Braun Strowman theme, WWE theme. Kind of his most popular theme. The locomotive one they kind of did a little bit later was okay. It was cheesy. It was
very cheesy. Yes.
Yeah.
It was even more like I couldn't get over when they would do the train sound when he would circle the ring. Oh man.
Yeah, that was that didn't work, but not a bad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Interest music there. So when that one hit, everybody got you pretty excited.
He knew somebody was about to get them hands.
We did. So, Primo, you got any wrestling in the headlines you want to talk about?
I actually have quite a few wrestling in the headlines. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Wrestling in the headlines on June 15th, 2022. That's today for all you marks out there. So, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. AEW wrestler Jeff Hardy was arrested on Monday with a DUI. After the arrest, toxicology reports indicated Hardy's blood alcohol levels were 3 times the legal limit of the .08 limit in Florida. It's the same in Texas.
Whew.
It was like over. It was in the .2s. It was up there. Tony Khan has since published a statement on behalf of AEW that says Jeff Hardy is currently suspended without pay and that AEW is willing to assist with treatment.
Yeah, they always WWE's put out that kind of statement before, so yeah, this one sucks, man, because I mean, y'all, we hope that these guys that we watch as wrestlers, when they have real people problems, you know what I mean, like outside of wrestling. I mean, otherwise he's great, right? You know what I mean? So, it's hard to kind of stay in their corner, right, when they're doing it over and over and over, like they're not learning their lesson.
Yeah, so I've been I can't say lifelong, but since the 90s, I've been a Jeff Hardy fan. Everybody knows he is my favorite wrestler. It's just, this sucks, man. But for me personally, as a fan of Jeff Hardy, I mean, obviously it sucks, but as man to man, I hope all the best for him. I hope that he gets help. And this time it was a little different. He got arrested for a DUI. I have kids, so if I can't really show any mercy to that. Honestly, personally, I'm a little more judgmental in that aspect. I grew up in an I grew up with an alcoholic in my high school years. I've been in the vehicle with an alcoholic, and it's not a good thing. Sure. So I just, you put yourself at risk, you put others at risk. That's the big problem, is when you get on the road when you're intoxicated or in any form, sure, you're putting others at risk. And those are innocent people out there that don't deserve that. So yeah, but like I said, we do wish him all the best. Hope he gets help he needs. And obviously, like I said, Tony Khan did say he is suspended without pay. And until he is, cleared with proper treatment.
Well said. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna agree with all that, and it's you don't take into account what could happen to innocent others. I think that's what the end all story is here with when in this kind of situation. So but. Yeah, I mean, how many times but this is what you say, I mean, it's like each time you hope that they come back and get better, right? I mean,
it does suck, and you really hope, that he doesn't end up being like another one of those tragic stories,
right? If anything, stop fucking driving.
Yeah, for sure,
driving.
Dude. You have money, so go hire an Uber. They have these things called cell phones where you can call any driver to come pick you up now. It's wild, but we move on. So Jon Moxley's book has obviously been released. I own it myself on hardcover. I love the book, and I read it as soon as it was published and sold to consumers. But it has now been released as an audiobook with Jon Moxley himself as the narrator. So
see, I can get behind that.
Yeah, man. I'm a fan of audiobooks. I like to listen to them in my car on road trips and stuff.
To one. I love them. But I love listening to podcasts. So it's probably
man. I've listened to a few, especially wrestling ones. I've listened to JTG. He has 2 books that he narrated. And there's a few out there, yeah.
Nice.
But
road trip.
I'd like to go ahead and buy this one again on audiobook form just so I can hear it, because you see when you read it, you imagine how it's read.
Sure, yeah.
But when
he's delivering it, better.
Right, when he's delivering it, yeah, it's going to be a lot cooler.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm down for that.
So during an interview recently, Tony Khan has stated that he is hoping that Forbidden Door becomes an annual event. So this isn't just like a one-off partnership.
Sure. I love it. Why not? It could be like, Wrestle Kingdom meets Double or Nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I mean, or All Out, whichever one you.
Yeah,
call it.
it's a good. At the end of the day, that'd be a good business decision for both AEW and New Japan.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it's smart.
It is smart. Impact is launching a new shoot interview series called Outside the Ropes with Tom Hannafin for their Impact Plus Ultimate Insider service. They're going to do like shoot interviews. I think the first one's already out with Trey Miguel on YouTube.
Okay.
So that's pretty neat. Those of us, including myself, that have been streaming Peacock for free due to being an Xfinity Comcast customer, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh, no.
The time frame is still unknown at this point, but according to Variety Magazine, the Peacock will no longer be free for Comcast Xfinity customers at some point in the near future. So we'll have to pay like everybody else.
Yep, yo, $9.99.
Which, for me, I'm like, honestly, I subscribed to the WWE Network since it came out, so
sure,
I can't say that I wouldn't, but obviously I use it for the podcast. I use it for the archive. I loved watching old wrestling and going back and watching stuff I grew up watching. It's like, for me, that's like chilling, like TV that you watch when you chill, like background, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I love doing that. So I would definitely subscribe. There are some shows on Peacock that my wife likes as well. But yeah, so it won't be free for Xfinity users sometime in the future. Referee Brian Hebner has announced his retirement as a full-time referee. He says that Slammiversary and Impact tapings afterwards will be his final shows. He says it's going to be his last full-time status. He's going to, from then on, he'll work for himself. So basically, literal independent contractor.
Yeah. So do some indie shows.
Right. And finally, this just came out just before the pod here. I don't even know if you've seen this yet, Dirty.
Let's hear it. I'm excited.
The WWE board has launched an investigation probe into a $3 million hush pact from Vince McMahon to an ex-employee that he allegedly had a consensual affair with. The January 2022 separation agreement bars the now former employee, who was hired as a paralegal in 2019, from discussing her relationship with Mr. McMahon or disparaging him. And there's a lot more that goes into that. You can go read that on Wall Street Journal. But, man, yeah, it looks like it's about to go down with that.
Okay, so what year was that he allegedly paid her off? Did they say?
She was hired in 2019. The separation agreement was in January of this year.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. if it'd been a while, I was going to say the money's ran out and she's starting to talk now. But,
$3 million? Yeah.
Yeah, $3 million. But, Oh,
dang, dude. Sugar mama come hit me up. I'll be quiet.
$3 million, dude. $3 million. Come talk to me, ladies.
Right, yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got in the headlines for June 15th.
All right. Well, AJ's not here, so we'll skip this day in wrestling history and head to the shout out. If anybody out there in podcast world would like a shout out on the pod, go to Sit Down Marks on Twitter or DB_SitDownMarks on Instagram, or also Sit Down Marks on Facebook. You can also message us at anywhere and anytime, and let us know when and where you listen to the podcast, and we will give you a shout out. This shout out today comes from a guy named he just put Michael J with the pod. He listens to us. He listens to us from Hartford, Connecticut area, is what he said. So up in the northeast there. So thank you, man, for checking out the pod. And he said he just heard about it and was checking it out. Or I think he said he found it on a search, is what I remember he said. So thank you so much for listening to the pod, man, and appreciate you becoming a fan there.
I like that even better, because Search, that means that search optimization, excuse me, I cannot speak. Search optimization is out there doing its job. So if you were able to search us out, you search for a wrestling podcast and we popped up. That's a good thing. That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty cool. Haven't heard that one yet. So I'm pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So yeah, keep listening, man. And thank you so much again for checking us out for sure. All right. So it's time for AJ's segment of the week. No AJ?
AJ's, you know what? I don't even care anymore. This is ridiculous. Of the week.
So this week, AJ, he was going to speak on this, and I'm not even sure what he was going to say, but it's on one of Glenn Jacobs' mayoral campaign messages for whenever he was running for mayor of Knoxville in 2018. It's the title of the video is "Lighting the Way for Our Future," which the whole video, for me personally, obviously, like I'm a fan of Kane for sure, but like growing up watching this dude and then trying to watch this campaign message he has this whole time, and it says "Lighting the Way for Our Future." I'm like, so when's he going to bring the big red machine into this? but like, it's hard for me, and I know he's like a really intellectual dude, and he's really well spoken, and he's a nice guy, and all that jazz. But it's just hard for me to take him serious whenever I like all the years I spent my whole life as this dude was Kane. But yeah, that's all I got on that. Here's this clip that AJ sent me. It is for Glenn Jacobs' mayoral campaign. He's running for Knoxville County Mayor in 2018, lighting the way for our future.
Hi, my name is Glenn Jacobs, and I'm running for mayor of Knox County here in the great state of Tennessee. In my career, I've been blessed to travel all over the world and see all the great communities that our country has to offer. But in my opinion, Knox County is the best place to live, work, and raise a family. 22 years ago, I met the love of my life here in East Tennessee. We decided to make this place our home and to raise our family here. Every day, I'm thankful that we made that decision. As your mayor, I will work with local businesses to make
this man was a killer in the WWE.
To succeed. I will work with the great teachers and administrators to make sure that Knox County schools produce a competitive, world-class workforce that will attract new businesses and create jobs. I will work to make sure that government remains open and transparent so that every citizen of Knox County has a voice in the mayor's office. And I will fight to keep government small and to keep our taxes low. President Reagan once called America the shining city on a hill. Let's make Knox County an example of what that shining city looks like. Together, we can and we will make Knox County the standard bearer for the rest of Tennessee and the entire Southeast. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, dude, it's hard to take. Yeah, like this guy was a killer back in the day.
I'm fucking moving to Knox County tomorrow.
Let me tell you,
that promo.
I've driven through Knox County several times, and I'm not going to say anything disparaging about it, so I don't get choke slammed. Sure. But it's nice, but I don't know about like it being the best place for me to move my wife and kids. Now, Tennessee is beautiful.
Sure.
But
Tennessee's gotten popular. A lot of people moving there lately.
Yeah, it is very beautiful. But nope. I just
that's funny though, right? Because I mean, it's hard to get past him as the big red machine and all that stuff. Now he's cutting a promo of wanting you to vote for him, move to Knox County, and yada yada.
Exactly. His place is the best place on earth to live. He's sitting out there under the under the sunlight with the birds chirping. He's standing beside this park bench. I'm just like, dude, remember when you tombstone Pete Rose?
Right. Yeah. You're still a killer, don't you know?
Exactly. You're still the big red machine to me, damn it.
For sure. That's pretty interesting though. So it's funny in the same sense too.
It's wild.
Yeah. Politics. Hey. All right, welcome to the show. I am the Dirty Bird, of course. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about. We got another fun pod starting with our reactions from the week of wrestling. Promo School comes from AJ's favorite wrestler, the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor. So we're going to...
That's right. That was good.
In just a little while in this promo. And then we are going to review the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express from Starrcade 86, the famous, I guess you want to call it, infamous scaffold match. That is our dropkick discussion of the week. And finally, an interview we all couldn't wait to do, and it was an absolute blast. I mean, it was awesome to talk to this guy. We finally bring you the interview for the Journey Pro and Rocket Pro champion himself, Old Evil. You heard the promo. He's got a ton of nicknames. Christian Rose. The interview is coming here shortly. Hang tight for that. And it's going to be a huge one. So can't wait for you guys to hear this one. Primo, if you're ready, man, let's get this thing started.
This is Levi Cooper.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins.
This is Big Beef.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, and you're listening
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
All right, let's get to the recap of the week. But first of all, we're going to start with the indies. How about me and Primo today? We are supporting TDC. Those damn Coyotes, that's right. Damian Deschange, Berna, Christian Rose, Connor Hopkins. The boys were supporting the camo today. So
yeah, we are.
Christian Rose interview coming. We had to put the Coyotes on, so wanted to support those guys today. A couple notes though. This weekend there's a huge tournament, St. Louis Anarchy Dingo Invitational. Connolly's in it, Biff Busick, Masha Slamovich, Speedball, Davey Vega. Man, I am so bummed I can't get to any of these two. I think it's a 2-night event. It's going to be awesome, man, and it's going to be a big tournament down there. So if you're in the St. Louis, Alton, Illinois area, check that out, man. It's going to be a big one. Also, Iron Spirit Pro, our next show is July 16th. Matches are going to be announced soon for that. And then also we'll be talking about it more. But next weekend, we're going to be back at CCW. CC Dub chant did not break out. Maybe
it did not break out.
Maybe this time it will, because
you got to start it.
There's going to be a lot of people there because Killer Cross and Scarlett are going to be there, and it's going to be a big show, Primo, because we're going to be talking to Chris Slammer next week. He's going to be on the pod for to talk about his career. He is a staple in CCW. He's going to be there this weekend, so we'll be talking about his match. I believe he's in like a battle royal or something like that, I believe. Yeah, man, it's going to be a big pod coming up next week for sure.
A show
with old Chris Slammer in it. Can't wait for that.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
man. It's awesome.
Kind of jealous you guys get to go see that. That's pretty cool.
Come on down and go. All you got to do is just do it.
It's Father's Day weekend.
I know, right? Yep, tough one. All right, let's get to let's get to some of these reactions, Primo, man. Let's start off with I'll take the reins here and go with let you guys know about some WWE Smackity Down.
Smackity Down, baby.
Was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana this week. Or last week. Lacey Evans, she beat Xia Li to qualify for Money in the Bank.
Yep. That's the thing.
You own her
What's that?
You own her off on Lacey.
I
or you medium.
Lukewarm, I guess. But I mean, she's as an in-ring competitor, she's awesome.
Sure.
The character is what I'm lukewarm on. I personally liked her previous one.
Yeah, she's got the right hand still.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it when she came out like she used to come out like a Southern Belle.
Sure.
And
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I liked all that.
Guns
this new thing is like, okay.
Like I've come from a broken home and I've been, had a rough life. That's the gimmick. right?
Yeah, I guess.
You know, I mean, if I don't know if it's shoot or not. I haven't dug into it, but I mean, so
if
that's
it
what we're
is, I'm
going by.
sorry, but
Sure. But it's wrestling, so we're going with
right.
it as work.
Right.
It's work. So, yeah. Natty, she interfered with Ronda's match to get their storyline going for Money in the Bank. She puts Ronda in the sharpshooter.
She sure did.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, so she puts her in the sharpshooter, and how cool is that? It's like, take that, Ronda. You know,
yeah.
You get to get one of the like most iconic submissions in wrestling.
I know she's probably not going to, but I'd be really all right with Natty winning the belt.
She hasn't won it enough.
I know, definitely not.
I've been a fan of Natty's forever, and like,
sure,
she's just like, she's kind of like the women's gatekeeper.
Sure, she is. Yeah, we talked about it before. She's like, she's the hardest worker in the room, and that comes back to hurt her because she gets everybody else over.
And my thing with her is like, she can be like, no offense to her, but it's a I guess you could say it's a compliment to her for me saying this, that she can go from me believing that she doesn't have a chance to being like, oh shit, that's fucking Natty Neidhart. Like, she'll fuck you up.
Right.
Like, just with an instant.
Right. Let's call it what it is, though. If Natty was good on the mic, she would be money.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's the only thing that holds her back, man.
Yeah.
Skills in the ring, got it.
I just think there's been lots of times where she's been part of a where she got put in the undercard or whatever, and then they're like, okay, we need somebody to work with the champ, or we need somebody to, put somebody through their paces real quick. Who are you gonna call? Natty. Right.
Yeah, it's somebody like, yeah, you're right. Like, she's the gatekeeper, that kind of person that, makes it somebody else look good that may not be. So, I mean, she did it with Charlotte. We just watched it not long ago. So, welcome to the show here, AJ, with the late run in. What's going on, pal?
Yo.
What up, you Mark? You hard worker?
Yeah. So right now, like, you all know me very well, and
Sure.
You know that country music is the bane of my fucking existence. I hate it so hard, and there's this giant country music festival in town right now that my job just decided that we should sponsor it and be there all weekend. Oh no, by the way, AJ, you love country music, so you're going to be in charge of a lot of different shit. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Hi, guys.
Welcome to the pod here, buddy. We just started recaps here, so we jump back into SmackDown. So let's talk about this, man. Good spot here for AJ to come in. So
yeah, get me in.
All right,
there.
so Gunther, right? He comes in.
Gunta.
And I'm like, oh, well, Gunther got a pretty quick IC title shot here and succeeded. So another quick IC title run. He beats Ricochet and new IC champ. He beat him by like a power bomb. So
real quick, I know that's what we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about him winning, but I just want to say, the dude he looks great, doesn't he?
Gunther? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm okay with what they're doing with Gunther. That's one of the few bright spots.
And from what I've read, me being the great freaking detective I am, not really. I read it somewhere. I can't even remember that. Apparently, Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him, is like really pleasing the gorilla and higher ups.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I heard he's like great backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always, he was on the Indies for a while before he ended up going like NXT UK. He, had some awesome matches with Riddle. And yeah, he's always was one of those kind of guys like, respect the mat kind of, gritty type wrestler. But
it's kind of a throwback.
Yeah, he is kind of a throwback. Definitely. Definitely his build, his shape. Yeah. I would bet he will be champ one day. Yeah, and like,
cool.
I just thought about him versus Roman for the first time, and I thought,
you mean one day 5
like
years from now?
It's not. Yeah.
Well,
it's not the one I want.
Sure. He's IC champ though, so
maybe he can bring it some prestige, right?
God,
of course, so. Yes. Just keep him serious. Don't make it don't have him dancing. None of that dumb shit. Like, don't ruin him. Just like
Vladimir Kozlov ringing bells.
Stay right.
Or
perfect.
Alex
example.
Wright, perhaps.
Perfect.
Das Wunderkind.
Hey, fun boys.
Das Wunderkind. All right.
You see me and Dirty are matching today.
We are. We got the
I saw that. I feel
you didn't get the memo.
I might. Hold on. We'll talk. Like,
all right, so main event of SmackDown, Riddle beat Sami Zayn despite help from the Usos to earn a shot at Roman's WWE title next Friday, which ends up evolving more into Raw, basically. Raw, which was in Wichita, Kansas.
Hey, I've been to that city.
Have you?
By the way, I love Intense Riddle. He's awesome. And yes, I have been in Wichita, Kansas.
All right, so to kick off Raw, Miss TV led off Raw with Paul Heyman as a guest, which I kind of thought was cool. But it got interrupted, of course, Riddle. And basically, he's going to say he's going to win the title from Roman, bro. You know, kind of like he does. Heyman says this title match this Friday. There's really no stakes in it for Roman. So Roman and Paul said they have decided that Riddle, if he loses this match against Roman on Friday, which is 2 days from now, then he will never have another shot at the title as long as Roman is champion.
So can they just make that stipulation? Like, I decided that you're never going to get another title. Like,
sure, I guess, if he agrees to it.
Tribal Chief, man. Right, he runs the shop, man.
That's fair.
My favorite thing about this segment was Riddle speaking French to Maurice.
Yeah.
Or was that last week? Was that last week?
No, because
that was last week. That was last week. Oh. This week was with Paul.
All my Raws are mixed up.
Still funny though. Still funny though, nonetheless. So they explained the stipulation, yada yada. You know, if Riddle loses, he'll never get another shot. The Usos come out. Street Profits show up as well. And then we have a Jimmy Uso versus Montez Ford match, 1-on-1. Jimmy wins with kind of like a sneaky rollover pin after Montez Ford does a frog splash, which was kind of cool. You know, it's kind of working.
Not exactly a clean win. I like it.
Sure, yeah. All right, so this kind of promo, I guess, so to speak, of Seth Rollins when he's kind of sitting there. He says that basically what he did to Cody was to protect, in quotation marks, his WWE in the you have to adapt, which is funny. Like, I think this is great, like blurring the lines type of shit. You know, in my WWE, you have to adapt or perish. So he said Cody had to perish. Basically, like
which I don't know if anybody else thought of the same thing I did, but that was a line from whenever they were feuding. The Shield was feuding with Evolution.
Oh, really? Adapt or perish?
Yes.
I didn't catch that at all.
I didn't remember that at all.
Of course, it has nothing to do with that. Well, dude, I'm an Evolution mark. I love Evolution.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
But it was funny, like when he said Cody had to perish, he had the sledgehammer in his hand, and then out of nowhere, AJ Styles hits Seth with a forearm and like sends fucking Seth for a loop, like he's sitting like in an office or whatever, knocks him out, and he says that was for Cody, and then we find out that AJ and Seth are in a Money in the Bank qualifying match later.
So, real quick, are we supposed to be like, you know, when Cody left, WWE. AJ was not in the WWE.
The first time?
Right?
Yeah, he was there.
Was he there?
Yeah.
Or he had just got there?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he just got there.
Okay. But it's like, so for me, I was like, what is this relationship? Are they like saying they're Bullet Club brothers because they've both been in Bullet Club? I was like, what's going on here?
Right.
That's for AJ, my friend.
I'm
when did we establish that he was your friend?
I'm everyone's friend.
All right, so spoiler: Seth beat AJ to qualify for the tournament.
What a great match, though!
With the Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, it really was like that. Okay, listen, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles at any point is going to be awesome.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. I want to see this at SummerSlam.
Yes, I want to see this. I want to see these two feud.
Yeah,
for a while because their chemistry in ring was just through the roof.
Yeah, and Liv, Alexa Bliss.
I was a happy boy during this match.
They all qualified for Money in the Bank women's match
together. Yeah,
together. Sure.
Yeah, it was fun to see them as a tag team for various reasons.
Your main event. I'm sorry, Wichita, Kansas. You had to go through this, but
this wasn't a main event.
Well, no, it wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
The main segment.
Segment,
I mean, the go home Raw segment. This is what you had to see going home was a pose off between Theory and Lashley. You know, it gets up on a podium, pose, crowd goes yay or nay. Well, obviously Bobby won, you know, as the faces oftentimes do. But then last time when he gets up there, he's posing. And Theory squirts baby oil in Bobby's eyes.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
What I have to say about this is I actually halfway enjoyed the segment, but I just wish it was somewhere else on the card because I think I've come around. I've always liked Austin Theory. I've started to come around to him more lately in his current iteration. And I've always liked Bobby Lashley as well, but it was just funny because there was a little comedy in there, and I thought it was funny to a point, but it was also stupid that it was in the main event. Like the AJ Seth match could have easily been the main event,
let's do that before
anything, you know.
I think I took more notes on this segment than I did on anything else that happened this week because. Okay, first of all, in my opinion, this kind of killed Austin Theory a little bit because he just looked like a goober. And then the whole selfie thing was it was stupid. Like the stupidity of it was highlighted. And it was reminiscent of when Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude did the pose down. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
And I absolutely love that. I loved it going back and watching it now. It's hilarious. And Austin Theory, you, sir, are not Rick Rude. And it had the same finish where something got sprayed in Ultimate Warrior's face after he won. He clearly shouldn't have won because Rick Rude is the most jacked performer in the history of WWE.
Sure. Oh, Hog had to be quiet while he's doing it.
Yes. And they were in Kansas City, so really they missed a chance for a Kansas City Sweat Hog.
Oh my God, they did.
They sure did.
And that's sad. And they were doing a pose off, and I hated this segment, and it made me dislike Austin Theory, who I've also been coming around on, but now I'm just like, nope, go away, get off my TV. I can't stand your stupid face.
I mean, to me, it's like, so, okay, for one, Austin Theory is built like a statue. Don't get me wrong. He is shredded.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just not as big.
Stand next to me, I would look like a fucking potato. He would look like a Greek god.
Sure.
But stand next to Bobby Lashley, who's twice his size.
Yeah. That didn't really work.
It looks like Bobby would eat him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I did not. I was not a fan of this.
My last thing I want to say about this was, did you guys realize that the spot was that Bobby's going to have it in his eyes, right? Well, Theory was still mic'd up from talking.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Here it comes." And then
Jesus Christ.
Did you hear that? The mic's caught
I missed it. I missed it.
Yeah, before he gave him because he was all covered up before he gave him the drop kick to go out of the ring.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
So he was like,
I was thinking though,
and then he
what
took
would have
him
been
out right after that.
When it happened, because I watched all this live. Actually, it's the first time I've actually, for my own time management sake, been watching Raw live recently.
Weird.
But I thought it would have been funnier if, after he sprayed him with the baby oil, Austin tried to grab a hold of him, did some slippy slidey thing because he couldn't grab him or something. But, it didn't happen. Bobby just walked away with people.
Kind of flopped away a little bit.
Yeah.
They probably did that spot because they didn't want to have to change the canvas after that because he had baby oil everywhere. And they could do a match after that. That's probably why they did
that was another thing. Was it baby oil or was it like water or watered down oil?
Yeah, I don't know. Shoot baby oil.
Yeah,
shoot working, or was it working baby oil? Working baby oil?
Remember back when working baby oil? Working baby oil.
Working baby oil.
Is that baby oil at work?
So everything's at work these days.
Yes.
So that's the thing. We're all smart marks now, so they're just working us all against ourselves. But anyway, remember that dude in 2006 when DX reunited, the chubby dude that would just spray baby oil on himself?
Yes.
That?
Yeah. In Impact? He was on Impact a lot?
He was on both, yeah.
Oh, man. Can't remember his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway,
Johnny Sweatums.
Come back to you. All right, so NXT has have a few notes. Primo, your boy Wesley, he beat Zion Quinn.
He sure did.
Nice one there. Love to see that. And then the
Twice.
Dyad.
That's the second time he beat him.
Yep, the Dyad debuted wrestling in the cloaks.
Yes, I have something to talk about that.
Yeah.
So not only these guys were visibly having problems wrestling with these cloaks on.
It was bad.
Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, okay, I get it. You don't want to reveal who they are, but like the cloaks, like the hooded part keeps flapping in front of their eyes. So then, and when they tagged, they were like they were barely touching each other. It was like they were wrestling blind almost.
Yeah. It was like they're wrestling in a costume.
And honestly, like to me, it seemed almost dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially to the other workers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's hard for me to trust this guy if he can't even see what he's doing.
I know. It made me nervous.
Did you guys get a look at Giovanni Vinci?
His entrance tripped me out. I was like, there were so many times where I was like, is my cable freezing? What's going on?
Yeah. So I'm kind of intrigued by it. But last thing though, or two things. How about the Braun Breaker squash of Duke Hudson?
Dude, it was
Hudson gone.
I messaged you. I remember I messaged you guys and said it was 2 minutes. I looked more into it. I think it was less than that, like a minute 30 maybe.
Yeah, it was like a minute 30. Yeesh. Squish.
Yep. And then,
but then I said it was very worth it, for the next thing.
Oh, absolutely. And then the promo, Cameron Grimes promo on Braun Breaker. Pretty legit.
The promo you heard at the top of the show in the intro, I'm clearly Cameron Grimes is over the comedy. He's ready to be serious. He said, if he's going to say he's going to the moon, then he's going to fucking get in the rocket ship and light that sucker. So
I like it.
I was down with it. Let me say this. A little pull the behind the curtain a little bit on the podcast. I didn't know what promo I was going to put in to the intro for tonight's pod until I watched NXT Live last night, and I was like, that's the one. Because I thought it was so good. I mentioned this to Dirty that Cameron Grimes is underrated on the mic. He's just so comfortable. And I liked what he said about how, my favorite line from that promo is he said, I'm not saying that you ate from a silver spoon. I'm just saying you ate better than I did.
That's a good line.
Yeah. I like that too. I thought this was the best promo Cameron Grimes has done yet.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Why not, man? I like it. You know, he's an easy guy to get behind. You know, So that'll wrap it up for my WWE this week, boys. If you guys got anything else, let's go on to AJ and AEW.
Well, I have one more thing. So 2 things about the whole Riddle and Roman Reigns thing. Number one, Roman Reigns, I think he tweeted it out that he was like, I gotta stop what I'm doing on vacation to come back to beat this scrub or something like that. Which that was funny, but at the same time, I'm like, why are they wasting our time, or wasting Riddle's time for that matter? We know he's not going to win. Like,
yeah, it's kind of a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, so like, why not go ahead and put him in something that could, go ahead and get him qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match, or go ahead and get him something that could ignite something further into SummerSlam. But he's not going to win this match, obviously.
Like something that matters.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, I get that part, but obviously they got some sort of long-term storyline I think they're probably going to tell here with this, I'm guessing. I mean, let's be honest. Whoever they put up against Roman, we're like, they're not winning.
Right.
Like,
I know.
Until it's Seth Rollins.
Until it, you know what I mean? Like,
Actually,
until it's like a big, huge match on a big, huge stage.
Exactly.
Then we might go, but otherwise.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. Do you want to know who I think will take one of the belts off of Roman Reigns?
Ooh, you think they're going to do one at a time?
Yes.
Ooh.
See, I don't. I think
hold on. I'm thinking. I think I'm thinking like AJ right now. Finn Balor.
Yeah. No, oh God, no. Finn Balor's done. He'll be mid-card the rest of his career. You're close though. Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the reason he has stayed and the reason that he signed to begin with was because somewhere in his contract he has a WWE title run in there. I mean, he's one of the big...
that not too long ago about Ruby Soho.
Yeah,
like when you sign, you're like, I get something out of the deal.
Yeah, like there's something like, so I'm going to say that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to take one of the belts off of him.
Because let's be honest, obviously we all know this. I don't know if Vince McMahon knows this or his creative team, but Shinsuke Nakamura was like the shit in Japan.
Yeah. He's like one of the biggest stars in the world when he came to NXT.
Right. And so he comes over to here and he's like chilling with Rick Boogs. And like doing nothing really, honestly. But the coolest thing he's done, which we all got to see, but I don't feel like it was played out long enough, in my opinion, was when he got to feud with AJ.
Yeah. Well, they turned him heel and all he did was punch dicks. That was the entire...
yeah, that's true.
That was the entirety of
and his. I did not like his heel music at all.
Oh, with the lyrics? No, I hate it. Not a fan. But that's all I got.
Here's a fun fact for you. My son's favorite wrestler, Shinsuke Nakamura.
You're goddamn right it is. Your son is a smart boy. Way to go, Primo Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see it with Nakamura. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite matches is his first match in NXT when he came against Sami Zayn.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time.
Right.
Yeah, but it ain't got nothing to do with him winning the title. Who cares about that?
I'm just saying that he was up here and he was seen as up here, right? The King of Strong style. And now he's like, it's Shinsuke.
Y'all said that was his first match in NXT?
Yeah.
That was his debut.
Everybody's fucking hot at that time when they come in. Everybody. KO, Stan, everybody.
He's like legend status in Japan. He deserves to be.
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing that at all. Absolutely, he is.
He's been relegated to all kinds of shit. He was wearing Mike's Hard Lemonade colors at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was.
I still feel bad about Rick Boogs, man. He finally got to WrestleMania. And
speaking of Rick Boogs, have you guys seen his Old Spice commercial?
I mean, I saw it before he even. Yeah, I saw the one a long time ago. Yeah,
so we knew he was Boogs.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
That's how I knew who he was from Old Spice before I knew he was Rick Boogs.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that commercial for the first time, and I was like, oh my God.
I kind of think that's what got the ball rolling a little bit, because it was after that when we kind of started seeing him on there. So let's get to AEW, AJ.
Okay, Dynamite. I have a few notes here. So, kick off the show, we're going to have the Battle Royale winner, which turned into a Casino Battle Royale, which is cool, to determine who takes on Jon Moxley at the end of the show. A couple of notables that didn't win: Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, Sir Murderhawk himself, Lance Arthur, Ricky Starks, Ray Phoenix. There were all kinds of people in this match. Johnny Hungy, Max Caster, who I almost reached through my TV and smacked him. I hated him so much.
I love some Kyle O'Reilly.
And then the Joker was Andrade El Idolo. So pretty cool. Like, there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And Kyle O'Reilly gets the win, which was awesome. I really wanted to see a Kyle O'Reilly Jon Moxley match. So cool. So then we have a setup for the AEW All Atlantic Championship, and the first match is Pac versus Buddy Matthews, which Pac wins, and I don't know if I agreed with that. Yes, you and the
Camo. I just wanted to say real quick, sidebar conversation. AEW does a really good job at creating belts. I love the new title.
It looks
personally
very cool. Yeah, it does.
It does look very cool. I like it too. Is this going to be like their United States belt?
I think it's going to be like their European belt.
Yeah, to me, like the TNT is like their United States belt. Yeah. But I guess it's their IC title, but whatever.
Yeah, wait, Primo, are you the one that said that this is going to be the title, like the AEW, like whoever has it, they take to other promotions and kind of vie for it in like New Japan or, even though that's specific.
It's the Inter-Atlantic or whatever.
Yeah.
All Atlantic or something like that.
I guess we'll see. I mean, I guess it's all still to be determined, but I think it was a honestly. Second sidebar conversation. Do you think this was a quick response to CM Punk's injury?
Yes, I think they're throwing a bunch of shit at the wall to see what sticks right now.
Yeah,
and
it was probably one of the things they had in their pocket and decided to.
Yeah, just in case kind of thing. Yeah. I also think that the guy that we'll talk about pretty soon was the same thing. I am excited for this tournament, though. Yeah. I'm excited for this tournament just because of the matchups that are going to be... Like, I'm super excited for the different matchups that they're going to have. Like, next up is going to be Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black, which is, I think, going to be a super awesome match.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see where they go with this. So up next, we have the man that I was just referencing, Mr. Will Ospreay himself. Because Primo, you spoiled it during that, because I like spoilers. So you spoiled it, and when I actually saw it, I was like, this is everything I wanted to. He didn't get a great crowd reaction. I mean, he got a big pop, but the crowd reaction, it's like they weren't exactly sure who he was. Which kind of made me sad a little bit. However, super excited that he's here.
No, I was excited that he was here, and I was also excited. Well, we'll get to it on Rampage, but how quickly he, integrated into AEW.
Yeah, and I like that he's a heel too. I thought that was really awesome. So a bunch of other stuff happened that I'm not going to talk about. Because I want to get to the main event before moving on to Rampage. And it was Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. These two just beat the shit out of each other. Like, that's all they did. Like, and it was great. It was exciting.
Yeah. Jon Moxley's a shit beater. Yeah.
Yes, as is Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly is a legit shit beater. Yeah.
So like it was really, really cool that, you know, they were going against each other. And, you know, Moxley got the win. So now he's either going to face Tanahashi, which will be fucking awesome. Or who's the other guy that he could face, whose name I can't think of right now? The other Forbidden Door guy?
Not Okada, but...
yeah, Gato.
So
one of those will be cool. And it makes me look forward to the Forbidden Door pay-per-view even more. And then there was one really cool thing that made me think that... made me think that Kyle O'Reilly is going to be the next member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Because first of all, he would just fit so well.
He would fit, yeah. I didn't think about that until you said that, but yeah, he would fit.
I mean, he literally, like, that's his thing, right?
Yeah. And then did you guys catch... This is another thing that AEW does that I love. Jim Ross called Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan.
I mean...
You guys
like no disrespect to Jim Ross, he's in my opinion, the greatest. You know, during my lifetime, or my greatest all time in my lifetime.
Yeah, me too.
But you know, shit happens. He's called AEW, WWE a couple times.
Yeah,
it happened. How many times have I said Daniel Bryan? I mean, come on.
Bryan Danielson.
Yes,
exactly. I mean, I'm not the greatest of all time. I'm not comparing myself, but it's an easy mix-up.
It is. But what I thought was cool was that William Regal talked about it. It's like AEW acknowledges other wrestling promotions and companies, even the big ones. Like in WWE, you exist in a vacuum.
Unlike, exactly, yeah.
So Regal talked about how he's the one who actually came up with the name for Bryan Danielson of Daniel Bryan. And so he had a little thing about that, and I fucking love that. I thought it was awesome.
That was funny.
I missed this, but it was like, oh man, I thought one day I was like, use your name backwards.
Yeah, basically. Shorten it and switch it. There you go. Problem solved. So after that, well, that's all I got for Dynamite. If you guys have anything else.
My son, real quick, the 10-year-old who loves Shinsuke Nakamura, he is balls deep in WWE 2K22.
Yeah,
and Daniel Bryan is a character.
That's an appropriate thing to say about.
Just balls fucking deep.
Hey, he recently learned about puberty. He told me all about it.
Oh boy! Oh
yeah,
boy. Exactly. Good.
He told me all about it. So anyway.
I'm glad.
Anyway, but Daniel Bryan is a character in that game. And so I was watching AEW not too long ago, and he was like, "Hey, look, Dad, it's Daniel Bryan." I was like, "You shut your mouth. That's Bryan Danielson." You don't know nothing, kid.
You dumb bastard.
I have two things about Dynamite. First thing was, and I hope that they wouldn't do it, but of course, Adam Cole and Britt are carrying around those pink belts. Like, just take them home. Like,
I thought that was weird too.
Put them on a mantle, like this.
Sure. Yeah.
Just
like you're never gonna defend them. Like that's not the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not defendable titles.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a trophy.
Yeah. We know
it's just one tier above the FTW championship.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing I got was, did you guys see David Finlay? He wrestled Adam Page. He looks good, man. He looks good. He trimmed down. His hair was longer. Formerly one half of Finn Juice.
All his time away from Finn Juice. Juice.
Yeah.
Since Juice went and joined the Billet Club, so.
Yeah.
The Billet Club.
The Billet Club.
Yeah.
Wait. Did we talk about Ospreay?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
About how he showed up and
drink. Yeah, it's okay. I was pretty pumped about that one. I knew he was stateside, so I thought it might happen.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of show up. So, but
I love
it. Like, good Lord, what a roster.
What I think about is cool about this whole thing, about whether it's Ospreay, Tanahashi, anybody really from New Japan. coming over to AEW, which is a show that most American wrestling fans watch. If you are a casual wrestling fan, unlike us, you're like, oh, cool. I get to see these other guys I don't get to see very often, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think it is a cool way to shine a spotlight on New Japan and also a way to see their top stars.
Yeah.
And maybe be like, oh, well, maybe I should go check them out.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't think Kansas City was the town to unleash Will Ospreay on.
No, you need to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
They're in Kansas City also?
No, wait,
they were in Wichita. The other
I was about to say, they're both in Kansas, though.
Both in Kansas.
I feel like WWE and AEW follow each other around.
Just same market. One's trying to stick to the other one.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about Rampage here.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Rampage.
Rampage
right now. Rampage. Oh, we haven't. By the way, I love Taz on commentary. I just want to throw this in here. Is my absolute favorite. I love Taz. It's like he doesn't give a shit, but he absolutely gives a shit. He just makes it seem like he doesn't give a shit. He breaks character. He makes jokes.
Right.
I love it.
He 100% cares about the business.
Yes.
But he also lets his New Yorker shine through.
Yeah.
Right?
I fucking love Taz on commentary. It's dumb. He's not good at it.
I always liked him even back in SmackDown and stuff.
I liked him then too. I don't know why, because he gets shit on for his commentary or his color or whatever.
People don't know what they want. You need Michael to tell them what they want.
I know.
I liked it too. I think he got tired of Vince in his ear.
Yeah. I love Taz.
He was okay with Impact with, he had to deal with Josh Matthews, but.
Yeah. See, I didn't pay attention to him much in Impact, but I'm fully on board for Taz right now. Fucking love Taz. Okay, so moving on to Rampage. There's not much I want to talk about on Rampage, but I want to talk about Jake Hager versus Eddie Kingston, because I was behind Eddie Kingston in this match more than I think I have been of any. Obviously, it's Eddie Kingston. We've all seen Eddie Kingston. He's on another level to me. He is so freaking awesome with his, when he took down the straps so he could get more pain from the. He's becoming
like that beloved son in AEW. Don't you think so too?
Yeah.
No matter what, everybody's just gonna love him.
I don't think he'll ever have a title. I think he might have the TNT title. I don't think he'll ever be world champ, but I don't think he'll need it. He's so good, and he's just so much fun, and everything is so he makes everything so realistic. So it was awesome. I really love this match just for Eddie Kingston in it. He's just so good. And he got the win over Jake Hagar, which was fine. I'm not really a big fan of Jake Hagar, so, whatever. Next thing I want to talk about is why Satnam Singh is on this roster. I don't know. I can't figure it out. He has no business being there. He's awful. He looked bad against jobbers. I don't get why he's there. Don't get it.
Well, I guess they have hopes for him. They're just trying to make, they all like big guys, and I guess just trying to do something with him. I'll tell you what, though, he destroyed our boys, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett.
Yeah.
But
it was so good seeing them.
Yeah, that was awesome. Fitchett took that big, huge bump from him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite spot of the match was the double lethal injection.
Yeah,
from Jay Lethal and the Fitchett, the besties, Grindhouse. It's awesome, man. That was cool, man. I always love to see him getting on some TV time.
That was cool.
United Empire was not over in Kansas City. That was my last note. Once again, on Rampage, they were not.
No, which is sad because it's wrong place, wrong time. But it was awesome seeing Matt Fitchett and Davey Vega. I love those guys. But yeah, and Jay Lethal's always awesome. Sanjay Dutt's always awesome. But no. So really the only thing left I have about Rampage is the trios match at the very end, because it was FTR and Trent Beretta with and they were taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, which is Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. This match was just fun. Like, just fun, everything awesome. Will Ospreay is arguably the best wrestler in the world, up there with Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega, and it was just awesome to see him do things. And FTR is so over. And Trent Beretta got the win. He was the last person I expected to get the pin.
Yeah.
In the 6 people that were wrestling, so that was awesome too. So I mean, this was a lot of setup for stuff that was coming. So yeah, I'm super excited about a lot, because I remember last week I was like, I don't know, AEW lost me with CM Punk gone, Bryan Danielson being out, but now I'm right back in it. Like, yep, they recovered. It seemingly so far. We'll let it play out, but it seems like they recovered very quickly and recovered very well from CM Punk having his injury.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, Primo, if you're ready, man, let's. If you want to do NWA first, and we'll leave Impact last for the Slammiversary card, or whichever way you want to do it.
Well, I have 2 pay-per-views over the weekend. I had NWA Always Ready and Slammiversary.
Correct.
So, real quick, what I will say is we'll go over Impact beforehand, because Impact was on last Thursday. Basically, right out the get, it was more Slammiversary build-up, but what was cool is the Blueprint, Matt Morgan showed up. He made a special... Cool. He made it, which I like. I've liked Matt Morgan, and I wish he would have, hang around longer, but he's a smart guy. He's now he's also a mayor of some town in Florida.
Longwood.
Yeah.
Longwood,
so
Florida.
He made a special appearance, and he talked about his history with TNA and stuff like that, and the Blueprint, and how he really enjoyed his time. I thought that was cool. Vincent came out from Honor No More and interrupted him, but whatever. And Matt Morgan was like, I really like TNA's chances, or team, like the OG's chances, basically.
Yeah.
And then they had a really good, great 6-man main event with Honor No More versus Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian, in which Honor No More actually came out with the victory. But we'll get into that, because we're going to get into the Slammiversary card here, because that is happening next weekend, or this weekend, excuse me.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, we're just riding off of that 6-man main event that I just talked about. We have the Impact Originals, which are Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Frankie Kazarian, and 2 competitors that are to be announced, versus Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, and Vincent. What do you think about that one?
I bet one of the 2 is like Petey Williams.
Would that be good?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Dude, what if they got Abyss to come back?
I would
still
love to see
backstage
Abyss.
with?
He's in WWE.
Yeah. I mean,
let's see who else could they get. James Storm.
James Storm, Cowboy.
James
awesome.
Storm would be
Sorry
fantastic.
About your damn luck.
About Wildcat Chris Harris. We've seen him.
He showed up recently. Yeah. That's actually a good, fair prediction.
What about Christopher Daniels? Is he still?
Yep, that's fair. Yeah, he's independent contractor. He can do what he wants.
Yeah. I'm going with Team TNA on this one.
It's got to happen, right?
Yeah. They got to win at some point.
Right. So next up we have, I'm a big fan of this match throughout TNA's history. Speaking of Abyss, we have Sami Callihan versus Moose in a Monsters Ball match.
I love the Monsters Ball matches.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Me too, just because I want to see Sami Callihan in a big match.
Yeah, he can't lose right off the bat after coming back.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm going Sammy.
As am I.
The feud will continue.
One of the most criticized gimmick matches of all time.
Oh, I was so psyched.
Is the King of the Mountain match.
The reverse battle royale.
Right. So we were having. So this here is the Queen of the Mountain match for the Impact Knockouts World Title between Tasha Steelz versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Chelsea Green versus Mia Yim versus Jordan Grace. And if you're not familiar, they have to put the belt up on the hook. They have to climb the ladder and put the belt up there. So yeah, it has been highly criticized.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, what you guys got on that?
It's so stupid. I just want to see the match because
now these competitors are legit. Like Tasha Steelz, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim, and Jordan Grace, all A+.
I'm going Mia.
I'm going Chelsea.
New blood
for the Knockouts World Title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you going Chelsea Green?
You mark it. Deonna Purrazzo.
You know what? No. Even though she is in the pretty good wrestling promotion, I'm gonna go with Jordan Grace.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jordan's the other smart pick there. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
For new blood.
She's like kind of a halfway sleeper.
I just want Chelsea Green because I messaged her.
I messaged Jordan. Oh man, I messaged half the people on this list. Okay. Anyway, moving on. To be on the pod, folks, get your minds out of the gutter.
Yes, to be on the pod.
So we have the Ultimate X match for the X Division title between Ace Austin, the champion, versus Kenny King, Speedball Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel, and Jack Evans and Alex Zane. It's a lot of competitors.
It is. Pick one.
Yeah, I know. Any of them. Like,
personally, I say Ace Austin retains.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
He's got Bullet Club backing him now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Fixed his entrance too, so he's not impaling any ladies with expandable chains.
He should just get a real staff instead of just like the one that shoots out and kills people.
Yeah. Just get a new one. It's a regular one.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh man, all love there.
I do love Ace Austin.
We just witnessed him almost impale somebody in like 2 feet from us, but no big deal.
It was almost.
So we have the Briscoe brothers versus the Good brothers versus brother, for the Impact World Tag Team titles. Obviously, in my opinion, the Briscoe brothers just got them. They're not going to get rid of them anytime soon.
Same.
Yep, agreed. However, this is the match I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, by far.
No, you're not. It's Queen of the Mountain. You know it.
Actually, it's going to be the one that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
That's two teams from the Pretty Good Wrestling promotion.
Pretty good.
Fighting against each other. Pretty good. And then we have the main event for the Impact World title. The walking weapon, Josh Alexander, against EY, Eric Young.
Retain.
Yeah, absolutely. EY's not getting a belt again anytime soon. I love him, but sorry.
Yeah. EY. Yeah, for sure. I'm also a big fan of EY, but I agree. Josh Alexander, as much as they played on him working his ass off to get to the title picture and get the title, they're not just going to get rid of it so quick.
Especially to EY, who again is awesome, but
he's a good guy to help elevate the champ.
Yes, to put over Josh Alexander.
Yeah. So we had real quick before I get to NWA Power, we also had the NWA Always Ready results.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Rodney Mack defeating Jake Dumas. We had the Mortons, Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton defeating Ill Begotten and the Country Gentlemen in a 3-way tag team match. Trevor Murdoch. So then we got the main card here. Trevor Murdoch defeated Aaron Stevens. It was Aaron Stevens' swan song. It was his last match. Take note of that, okay?
Noted.
Opening matchup. Trevor Murdoch defeated Aaron Stevens.
Yep.
Next up, we had NWA World Women's Tag Team matchup. Pretty Empowered, which is Kinsey Page and Ella Envy, defeated the former champions Allison Kay and Marty Bell. So we have some new women's tag team champions in Pretty Empowered.
But I love Allison Kay.
The person who I only see come around for pay-per-view events, the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide, defeated PJ Hawks. And then Colby Carino cashed in his championship series title opportunity, in which case Homicide also defeated him. Like, I don't know. I need to look up this stat, but I feel like Homicide's held that belt for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Natalia Markova defeated, what's her name? Where Loco?
Loca.
Yeah. Taya Valkyrie. The NWA National Heavyweight Championship was on the line.
World National Heavyweight Championship.
That's right.
World National. God, they have a lot of goddamn belts. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Jack Stain, which was the defending champ, defeated Chris Adonis, the Masterpiece.
Chris Masters,
Adonis.
a.k.a.
Yep.
Chris Adonis.
Tom Latimer defeated Scion. There's another one right there. Tom Latimer. NWA World Television Championship. Tyrus. Remember, Mims is the one who slammed him, so he got that TV champ title shot. So, But he defeated Mims. I saw somewhere else, like a sidebar, that Mims actually, he suffered like a concussion and like a separated shoulder from this.
Jesus.
It's like, fuck, man.
Talking about Thomas Latimer, too. He was in the original Ascension.
Wait, was he really?
Yeah.
Yep. The very first.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, it was like early NXT. NXT.
Who were there? Victor and
Connor.
Victor and Connor. Yeah.
So Victor was the original, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which one was the big one and which one was the little one?
Connor was the big one.
Connor was the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Victor was the
guy with the soul patch.
Yeah, he's got like a Space Lord.
Space Lord.
Space Lord.
Adrian Neville. So we had the NWA World Tag Team Championship, the Commonwealth Connection, which if you didn't know, now you know. It's Harry Smith and Doug Williams. They defeated La Rebellion, which is Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666 for the Tag Team Championships, which I thought was interesting because La Rebellion and Briscoe Brothers have been feuding, but I understand because at the same time that this happened, Briscoe Brothers is currently in a storyline for Slammiversary, so I get it. But anyway, moving on, we had NWA World's Women's Championship. We had Bully Ray on the commentary table for two of his students. Camille, the champion, defeating Kylan King.
Bully Ray still hanging around NWA.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Doing things.
Yeah.
Showing up. So then we had, at some point, it was in the pre-show, actually, Sam Shaw, formerly known as Sam Shaw, but also in NXT, he was known as, what was he known as? Dexter Loomis.
Dexter Loomis.
He showed up in NWA in the pre-show. This leads me to the main event. Nice. Matt Cardona, after much hesitation and lots of persuasion from, dude, Billy Corgan looks old as fuck.
I mean, he is old as fuck. He's like 60.
Like, Jesus Christ.
He's an old man.
I get it.
But Smashing Pumpkins right
now. The world is a vampire.
Like, don't get me wrong. Exactly. So anyway, after lots of persuasion and much hesitation, as I said, Matt Cardona, because of his injury and recent surgery, relinquished the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The 10 pounds of gold had been vacated.
Boo.
And now we have to have an NWA World Heavyweight Championship match, in which case a fatal four-way ensued between the original competitor, Nick Aldis. Out came Trevor Murdoch. Out came Thomas Latimer. And then Sam Shaw. So that was your 4, which is pretty cool match.
Was.
And in a surprise victory, we now have a 2-time champion and none other than Trevor Murdoch, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that move. I'll take that. I didn't think they were going Shaw or Latimer. So,
I thought it was either going to be Murdoch or Aldis for sure. The National Treasure.
Yeah, the National Treasure. I like
so.
it.
Yeah, and that was NWA Always Ready. Obviously, once Matt Cardona is all healed up, he'll probably come back and there'll be some kind of angle where he gets the title back. But for now, Murdoch is your current NWA champion for the twice time. Real quick.
Twice time.
I don't know if you talked about it during your AEW recap, AJ. I was there. I just don't remember. But Hangman calling out Okada in the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, no, I didn't. Because, which I meant to mention.
We just talked about him wrestling David Finlay.
Yeah.
Yes.
He called out Okada, but then Adam Cole, who actually.
Baby! Hold on, I can do this right.
So Adam Cole came out and was like, no, I'm taking on Okada, which I was like, yes, that is much, but I'm not on board with England.
Okay.
Just not.
All that leads me to this. On June 12th, which was Sunday.
Yeah.
Switchblade Jay White.
What?
The baddest motherfucker on the planet. The Catalyst. He beat Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And he had this to say. Listen closely.
Say right here, I have one quick message. Hangman Adam Page, you want Okada? You want Okada? You can have him, because you ain't fucking getting this. You dumb cowboy bitch. Osaka. No. Osaka. Say something. Say something. Come on, say something. Say something. Don't you want a chair? Come on.
何も言えないんです。
お客さんも乗せられちゃダメですよ。声を出しちゃダメって言うんだから、ここは守らないと乗せられちゃダメなんだよ。
我慢して耐えましょう。
耐えないと。
そして拍手を送る。
Let me take you back. 19th of June, 2016. In this very building, I had my last match as a young lion. I said goodbye to you all. And then I told you, you were my family.
かつてここでそのコメントがありました。2016年。
So fucking say something. Say something! I told you you were my family! Are you not happy for me?
Yeah.
More! That's right, I told you! You were my family! And maybe I wasn't completely wrong, huh? But today, June 12th, 2022, almost 6 years to the day on, I stand here. Switchblade Jay White, the #1 asset in all of professional wrestling. The last rock and roller. I am the man that single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden and the United Center. I'm King Switch, baby. And hey, once again, Tanahashi, I'm the first, only, and true Grand Slam champion, making me the real belt collector. As you can see, I'm the leader of Bullet Club. I am the catalyst of professional wrestling. And now I am the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Let me hear you. That's right, because now the world breathes with the Switchblade, because it's still my era. This is the Switchblade era.
So, what I have to say about that is two things. Number one, Switchblade Jay White is fucking awesome. But secondly, obviously that derailed Hangman Adam Page's plans a little bit.
I loved that promo so fucking much just now. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
He's got so many taglines. So who is Okada wrestling now? Why can't Page and Okada still wrestle?
Well, Hangman's thing was, he said, there's more than one world championship out there.
Yeah, right.
That's why he wanted to go after Okada to begin with. At least that's what he said on Dynamite.
I see.
And now, Switchblade has the title.
Yeah, ain't nobody taking that from him.
That was fantastic.
It was. That's why he's on another level, man.
He really is, dude.
Game, dude. Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for...
I have one more. Yeah, just last thing real quick. It's nothing too crazy. It was just NWA Power from last night. This is we're coming off of the aftermath of Always Ready. We had, at the very beginning of the show, we had Bully Ray. Remember, Bully Ray was on commentary for Camille and what was her name? Kylan King. I'm terrible at my job. So, okay, on a side note, my personal opinion about this was so Bully Ray and Velvet Sky used to be together.
That amazes me.
To me, it's like he had to sit there with Velvet Sky, and this whole time they had to actually. Now they may be cordial in real life, but it's like Velvet Sky's hot as fuck. Don't get me wrong.
She's one of the best looking women in all of professional wrestling.
But it's like so he had to go out there and do that. But no. But getting back to NWA Power. He came out and he talks about how, he's here on NWA to help out the talent. Basically a veteran speech. And then Mike Knox comes out. He shoots on Bully Ray. Mike Knox was in Aces and Eights. He shoots on Bully Ray about turning his back on the boys and leaving them to starve after Aces and Eights. And then Mike Knox choke slams Bully Ray through a table.
Good.
Yeah.
Choke slam.
Yeah, Bully got put through a table. Irony. So, yeah. Tyra Valkyrie defeats Taryn Terrell.
You should have told Velvet to get the table.
Yeah, see, that would have been funnier.
And then in the main event, Strictly Business defeated the Cardonas. So that was your NWA Power. That is all I have. I know the Switchblade Jay White took up most of my recap, but I was really excited about that.
I feel like that was proper.
It was definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, let's move on to the Dropkick discussion of the week.
Hey guys, this is Mr. Havens, the Argyle assassin himself, giving them all the shivers. This is the one and only Mike Hartenbauer.
This is Fake Jesus, Billy Starks.
This is referee Dan Perch.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw. You can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
You guys are listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
You're listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
Come celebrate pro wrestling right here on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With Primo, DB, and AJ.
And you're listening to DB, Primo, AJ here on the Sit Down Marks podcast, the best podcast for professional wrestling.
All right, here we go. Starrcade 86 is where we're at today. November 27th, 1986, the night of the Skywalkers. This was the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette as the manager. You know, this was basically a scaffold match to, you know, first team to throw the other team, or the other team to first team to escape wins the match. Now, this was just like last Starrcade where they did two different cities. Greensboro and Atlanta was the two cities once again. This was a highlight match of the card, but it wasn't the main event. They called it the Night of the Skywalkers just because of this this scaffold match here. So the main event actually was the Rock and Roll Express versus the Andersons. I believe that was in Greensboro. And then the main event, guys, that was in Atlanta, to kind of go back to last week, we watched Magnum TA. So the main event in Atlanta was supposed to be Ric Flair versus Magnum TA. Magnum TA had his accident, car accident, so they had to sidestep. So they decided to turn then very heel United States champion Nikita Koloff. They decided to turn him face to go against Ric Flair here, to kind of, you know, try to save face on this pay-per-view. So obviously Flair went over, didn't work that well. And then but going back to this match, this was a big blow-off match between the Warriors. They had been, this is one of the many feuds that they had with the Midnight Express. You know, they was finally going to get their chance to be, or get their chance to get their hands on Cornette, should he get involved in the match. Now, both of these tag teams were huge in this era, 1986, both kind of in their primes. If not, you know, they were very close to it. But, you know, make no mistake about it, this match was basically set up for one bump and one bump only. Mm-hmm. And Jim Cornette took that bump, and we'll be talking about that later. So another quick little tidbit too here. Jim Cornette had a bodyguard. His name was Big Bubba Rogers. You see him at the end of the match. He had a suit on with a nice little white hat. He would turn out to be what we would know as the Big Boss Man later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see him come in. So entrances, the Midnight Express music hits. By the way, Primo, you dropped the ball. No wig today. We're talking about Midnight Express.
You know, I almost wore it, actually.
No
now that you speak about it.
No excuses. No excuses. Moving on. But yeah, so the familiar Midnight Express music hits, just like what FTR comes out to now. Bobby Eaton, beautiful Bobby Eaton, and Dennis Condrey. He had Loverboy, I think was his name. Loverboy Dennis
Loverboy,
Condrey. Yep. With Jim Cornette, who came out black and gold with his famous furry tennis rackets that he would always come out with. The Warriors come out last. I didn't recognize any of this standard generic music that they came out to. So, you know, and they kind of was just sitting there waiting on the cue to walk out. And then so both the Warriors and the Midnight Express are both to the scaffold now and just came out here. What do you guys got here before we start the match?
Go ahead, AJ.
I honestly, so before the match started, there was one thing that I could not get over, and that was A Night of Skywalkers. When, was that Tony Schiavone who said,
yes,
A Night of Skywalkers? I fixated on that so much, that I don't know why. I'm like, that's some nice pandering. You know, Star Wars is a thing and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Sure.
And then the only thing I had after that, I didn't have anything else until they're up on the scaffold.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 out of the 4 guys look absolutely terrified.
Yes. Oh,
just terrified.
They are.
The one who did not look terrified at all, Hawk. Hawk looked fine up there. He didn't give a shit if he was going to fall, 30 feet to the ring. Did not care. The other 3 of them were very
oh yeah, it was inching their way.
They were like crawling, and all the bumps were like, instead of a bump, they would like lay down gently.
Yes, not
like,
to mention this contraption that they've put together that looks like three of us did it. And,
I don't know. I'm pretty confident in my work, sir.
And it like falls off. It like falls off. A piece of it falls off when Hawk gets up there.
Yeah.
So
they were very gentle when they were up there. And that's basically all I had for the opening.
So I had, for Starrcade 86 as a whole, solid guitar riff intro music at the very beginning.
I mean, it's no WrestleMania sex jazz music.
Also, yeah, that's true. Also at the beginning, I don't remember who said it, whether it was one or the other, but they said it was a premier wrestling event. So I said Starrcade did it first.
Yeah. Premier wrestling event.
Road Warriors came out. They were such rock stars when they came out. Their ovation was way different than Midnight Express. Not just tail babyface, but like on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know when the scaffold broke whenever they got up. So when Road Warriors, they climbed immediately up. They got in the scaffold. Like you said, the little piece broke. When that happened on the entrance, I might have changed my mind on the match right there. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm out. So the Road Warriors are standing up there. Midnight Express is in the ring with Jim Cornette. And so the music keeps playing, and we stared at each other for what seems like eternity, because they were waiting for the Midnight Express to, grow a pair and climb up there. Then they pan out, and the scaffold is high as hell. Like it makes when they panned out, it made it look really high. And then my last part on the entrance before the match started was, oh Lord, they let Cornette on the headset.
Yeah. So as Primo mentioned, the Warriors climb the scaffold immediately and kind of pose, at the top on the scaffold, and then they try to invite the Midnight Express up with them. We talk about a piece of the scaffolding breaks already, and so I guess it looks like it should in 1986, right? Like janky as shit. You know what I mean? Barely held together, dangerous as fuck. So I guess that kind of adds to the whole entertainment aspect of it, of like watching a train wreck, but you can't look away kind of deal. Midnight Express is introduced from the dark side. I thought that was kind of funny. Is that related to Star Wars too, you think?
Yeah. That was a dark. Yeah, the whole thing was like very Star Wars related.
Paul Ellering was with the Road Warriors, but not really like announced or on camera too much till the end of the, I guess they're just, showing the scaffold the whole time. But, so Bob Caudle, Johnny Weaver is on the call letting us know how scared the Midnight Express and Cornette are. And it does take them a while to climb up the scaffold to kind of get it going. So it took a minute. So finally, when all four men are up on the top on the scaffold, the bell rings. They gently brawl in line of the scaffold.
That is I was trying to think of a way to describe it. They gently brawl.
They gently brawl while standing in line, like sideways. They're punching like this, dude. They're punching like
that is spot on.
Sideways. So, all right.
Awesome.
So the kind of funny thing that starts here is Condrey throws powder in Hawk's face, and Bobby does the same. And you hear Cornette saying, "You think I didn't have a plan? You think I didn't have a plan?" So he's, so they're already going to the cheating tactics. And then Hawk and Animal are basically kind of in trouble here after getting the powder in the eyes, hanging off to the side. Bobby rolls off later, which the camera kind of misses all this. So because Bobby's up there fighting, and then the camera pans away and looks back, and Bobby's hanging on for dear life, kind of. You know what I mean? But it was like a missed spot or whatever. But anyway, so you got a lot of each other saving themselves right now. So Bobby comes back up, and he's busted. busted up, already bleeding as the Road Warriors kind of take back over. Dennis Condrey is trying to climb down, act like he's quitting, getting out of the match kind of deal, and Hawk's like, fuck that. He goes after him. And so he's basically chasing him for a while. You know, they're punching with one hand, kicking with one hand while hanging on with the other. Midnight Express ends up, while maneuvering around, they end up under the scaffold, which is basically a ladder. You know, and the scaffold is with planks is laid down on top of the ladder. So they're working their way up under this scaffold where, you know, they're basically hanging on it like monkey bars. You know what I mean? From the playground. The Road Warriors are chasing them. And then the Midnight Express, I think Dennis goes first and then Bobby. Bobby kind of gets kicked off by Animal. So that kind of made him land kind of funny. But so both of them fall off. The Road Warriors win the match. And then the funny spot to finish it was, you know, I mean, first of all, I didn't do enough justice. I mean, these guys were scared and careful. Like I said, yeah, Hawk was really the only one that was kind of, you know, looked pretty comfortable. But post-match, Paul Ellering, I think Cornette was overrunning his mouth at Paul Ellering. Paul Ellering takes the racket away from him and starts chasing him. Well, he runs him in the way of Hawk. Hawk runs Jim Cornette. So Jim Cornette, the only way for him to run is he climbs up the scaffold, right? So he climbs all the way up the scaffold structure to the top. Paul Ellering's still chasing him. Animal's still up there. He never came down. So basically Cornette is stuck. So now Cornette starts to do his escape. And he works his way under as well, just as the other guys did. Nobody got thrown off. It was just a hanging spot. I think they said 25 feet up in the air. So, you know, take away, you know, 6 or 7. So it's 15, 18-foot drop. But so Cornette's hanging onto the scaffold. He finally falls off, and he kind of hits it with his heel and then just slams his ass like straight back onto it. And I think he kind of stopped for a second to see if he was hurt or not, and then he started selling it. Like after that, it was like but it was, you know, back in the 80s, everybody wanted to see Cornette get hurt at all costs. He was the weasel that you just hated. You know, just like you want to see all the bad things happen to him. He was the spoiled little baby brat, always talked about his mama, yada, yada, yada. So this spot right here, the crowd absolutely loved. It was a funny spot in wrestling. The Road Warriors celebrate the match, and they're still celebrating with Jim Cornette's racket. And then we see Big Bubba, a.k.a. Big Boss Man, helping Jim Cornette to the back. All right, boys, what do you got here, man? Let's talk about this, and then we'll smelly mark it.
So, once again, after the entrance, I put, damn, that scaffold seems kind of sketchy. I don't know if I would have trusted it. And then with the sand, I don't know if anybody else out there in the sit-down marks world will get this, but I said, as Dale Gribble would say, pocket sand. Honestly, that's genius, in my opinion. You'd be up there on scaffold. You can do pocket sand. That's from King of the Hill, for those of you that don't know.
I'm one of those that didn't know, by the way.
I once took
you didn't know Dale Gribble was?
Yeah.
Pocket sand.
I once took a 30-foot jump off of a bridge, but there was water below me, not a mat. So it was much more welcoming. I don't know if so. Tony Schiavone says this is absolutely spectacular. I said I don't know about it being so absolutely spectacular. Tony, relax, buddy. More like extremely precarious.
Yeah,
it's his job.
And then he was trying. He was trying, but then the very next comment I put was, a lot of the commentary for this match is like halfway guessing what they think the wrestlers are doing.
Right. I mean, they were like directly underneath them.
And then they get underneath with the monkey bars, right? All 4 of them. And I put, oh shit, this has turned into an Ultimate X match. And then, I said, I saw the writing on the wall. As soon as they trapped themselves in between the Road Warriors, I was like, yeah, it's done.
Yep.
And then at the very end, when Cornette took that bump, I said, oh my God, Cornette just broke his ass with that landing. But then I actually looked it up, and he legit blew out his knees on that landing.
Yeah.
Really?
It sucked.
Yeah. But that's all I got.
So, I have a couple of things. One, again, they were all terrified up there, and it was very apparent, especially Animal. Animal was like, I found myself drawn to watching Animal just because he was terrified up there. So everything he did was like super ginger and like light. When all the powder got broken up, I'm like, do they just have piles of freedom powder up there that they can like go pick up and just be like, bleh! He also missed Hawk with like the first two throws. I don't know if like one like went way off to the side and Hawk is selling. And then I don't have anything until the Jim Cornette part, because the ending was what it was. I got so mad at Jim Cornette. So I was like, there are literally 359 other degrees that you could run right now. Like it's not the only escape. Like just whoop, like off to that side, or like beep, like that side. It just take your pick, any direction. All the directions are available to you, and he runs straight for the ladder. And then the bump, I went. Yeah. Like that's the exact noise that I made.
Yeah.
It hurts my ass when I think about it.
Yeah.
For sure. I thought he broke his tailbone, but I looked it up. He really did blow out his knees.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to mention too was something that I kept dwelling on was when they would. You could really see it with Cornette, but obviously you could see it with the tag teams as well. Is when they're really trying to do a spot, they would lay down. Yeah, because they didn't want to fall, so they're like laying down, being super cautious. Which tells you like us now. This is the '80s. They didn't know shit in the '80s as fans, but us now we're like, okay, well even though they're heels and faces, they're still legit trying to take care of each other.
Sure.
Sure. Unless you're Hawk, who never tried to take care of anyone ever.
All right, so we've watched it, we reviewed it. It's time to smelly market. AJ, start us off.
Okay, so this might be an unpopular opinion. I hated this match. I did. I hated the contrived. It was so, because I'm very good at having having a suspension of disbelief. Very good at that when I'm watching wrestling. Obviously, sure. I love a fake dinosaur in AEW. Like I don't care, but this. There are so many times where it would be so easy to just be like, bah! And the other guy's gone. Like just, bah!
Yeah,
and you're off. Like that's it. Instead, they're like at one point, I can't remember which one it was, but Animal was like hugging him while laying. Just don't hug. You're trying to get him off. Just bah! Give him a push. So it really, really bothered me. The Jim Cornette spot, which if I had watched it back then, I also wanted Jim Cornette to get hurt at all times.
Sure.
So that would have been awesome, and that will inform my score. And it's also funny thinking now, like back when I was a kid, Road Warrior, Pop, love the Road Warriors because of that. Hated Midnight Express. As an adult, love Midnight Express, hate the Road Warriors. I hate the Road Warriors. So I give this match a 2. 2 smelly marks, like not even enough smelly marks to fill the podcast, and that is only because I know that if I saw this as a kid, I would enjoy Jim Cornette falling off. So I give it a 2.
Primo.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't think AJ's opinion is that unpopular. I will say that my score is a little higher. But I'll tell you my reasons why. Number one, it's a scaffold match, which you don't see very often. But for that same reason is why I'm scoring it so low. scaffold match. This particular scaffold setup was just a nightmare for me. I was just, I wouldn't have trusted it at one bit. On top of that, the reason I'm giving it what I'm giving it at all is because it is memorable as, being what it is. But I give it, out of 10 smelly marks, the 3-time champ baby gives it a 4 out of 10 smelly marks.
Oh,
just below average.
So your smelly mark count can fill this podcast. Mine cannot.
Okay, so I'm not naive. I realize this match is like an era type match. 11-year-old me love this match at 11 years old.
Makes sense.
Every time I watch it back, it seems clunkier and clunkier, and just a train wreck. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was set up just for Cornette to have the bump. Now, 11-year-old me loved watching Cornette take this bump, and it's still funny me watching Cornette take this bump because it was a big, it was pretty big bump for 1986, and and hanging from a contraption that could fall apart at any second looked like, so
it looked like if you took one bolt out, that whole thing was coming down.
Right, yeah.
So
if it had bolts, if you removed one piece of duct tape.
For who was in the match, and for creativity that had never happened before, with the scaffold match, I'm going an honest 6.
6, eh?
That's fair.
See, I think that if I had seen
this was my childhood wrestling.
Right.
So if I had seen this as a kid, my score would be a bit higher.
Yeah.
But I never saw this.
He gives the sentimental vote.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, also, Road Warrior matches do not age. Well, you know how certain movies or music don't age well? Road Warrior matches to me don't age well. They're like Eminem's first album.
They're the same thing. They're the same thing a lot of times. Yeah.
That's funny.
Hogan was the same thing, and it got over. You know what I mean? It was just that was the era of wrestling. So, but good stuff there, boys. Next week we are headed to Starrcade 1992, Sting versus Vader. This one's going to be a good. This is one of the most popular Starrcade matches here.
Moving into the 90s.
Yeah, moving into the 90s, and then we're going to finish it out with some cruiserweight action after that in the following week. So that's going to be.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking, just randomly off the top of my head, our 2022 pods so far. Sting and or Vader have been very popular.
They have.
Yeah.
They have.
Well, they're going to get more popular because I remember this match distinctly when I was a kid.
Yeah, they definitely are. So that's what we're going to be doing next week for the Dropkick discussion. Okay, boys, let's move on to get these UFC picks here.
Woo!
As we were coming into tonight, AJ, we'll start with you. You were 48 and 43. You picked Glover Teixeira to win in the main event. Did you pick correctly or no?
Yeah, I saw that. I accidentally saw it.
48 and 44, AJ, you're going to drop to, but, there's always this week, man. Let's get you back out of the hole here. Well,
Please.
You're not in the hole, but you're,
I'm on a losing streak.
You're on a little bit of a losing streak here, so.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So we got the UFC featherweights. We're talking 145-pound guys here, AJ. So these are, you could probably scrap with some of these dudes. Yeah.
I mean, weight-wise, yes. I fight like a rock'em sock'em robot.
All right, so how about main event? UFC is Calvin Kattar. He's 23-5, 34 years old, 5'9", with a 72-inch reach versus Josh Emmett, who is 17-2, 37 years old, 5'5", 145 pounds.
5'5".
That's a tiny
70
man.
inches. Yeah, 5'9" and 5'5".
So I'm going to go with Calvin Kattar because I've heard of him before.
All right, let's see if he can get back in the winning ways. Primo, let's jump over to you, man. So you were 12-10 coming into the week. You took Santos to beat Shevchenko in one of the co-main events there. Did you pick correctly?
This bitch right here, dude.
What?
Nope.
Come on.
Shevchenko did it once again. So Primo's going to drop you to 12 and 11. You're flirting with 500 again, man.
I know.
Primo, you're
looking
gonna
at the card this weekend. Who you thinking?
Pick carefully.
Ugh.
Gonna get your thumbs broken.
You know what? I am looking at the card this weekend. Get my thumbs broken. I like AJ's pick, honestly, just off of the height advantage alone. But
yeah,
this is where I get in trouble, dude. With my heart, I get in trouble with my heart here. My heart goes to Cowboy Donald Cerrone.
If I Joe Lausen.
Yes, if I had Joe Lausen in the co-main. And I'm going to go with Cowboy Cerrone. That's my guy.
There you go.
There's your teammate, AJ.
Gambler's pick of the week, Donald Cerrone for Primo.
I'm about to be 500.
You are, probably. If I had to take.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on, Primo. Take us to promo school.
How's it going, everybody? This is the wild child, Connor Hopkins, the handsome coyote in Those Damn Coyotes. And you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
No, he is a handsome coyote. I will say.
Yeah, he's one of them on here. He's this one.
All right, so promo school goes back to 1989 this week. Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster, often referred to on this podcast. He's got this funny little promo I run across here with him talking to the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yes. Is he pecking while he gives it? That was my favorite thing that he did.
Here is. All right, Primo, bring it on him.
Oh, Brooklyn Brawler, you think that Bobby the Weasel Heenan is going to be the shining light, the way to go? Well, take it from somebody who's been there. I've clawed and I've scratched and I've done everything I've had to get away from him, and he's not going to take you anywhere you want to go. Take it from me. But if you don't believe me by me telling you, maybe I'll have to beat it into your brains. Now, Weasel, I know that you think that you're going to put him in front of you to protect you. Well, sooner or later, I'm going to go through him, the Brooklyn Brawler. I'm going to go through King Haku, Ravishing Rick Rude, whatever it takes, because I have something to prove to the people, to myself, and especially you, Weasel. It wasn't you that made me a star. I had it in here all along. And if I have to take you out to prove that to everybody out there, that's exactly what I'll do. Take it from the rooster.
Newsflash, you ain't running through the King Haku.
Also, Red Rooster, you are not a star.
I want to say this. Number one, I feel like we should all give our best Red Rooster impression. But also, beyond that, no offense to you, Terry Taylor, but you sound 0% intimidating.
Yes, just awful.
Yes, and the haircut was even worse, too.
What are you talking about with the little red mohawk?
Yep, it was.
All right, Rooster impression.
Nobody wins. There's only one Red Rooster.
What are you even doing?
All right, let's move on. It's time for the old evil Christian Rose interview.
You're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast, and I'm the king of Catterday, and it's Gary fucking J.
All right, boys. So we had the privilege of finally getting to speak with old evil Christian Rose. I felt like we kind of got to really pick the brain and interview like one of the, legends on the independent scene right now, especially in the Midwest. He's wrestling in a lot of different places. We'll talk about him being Journey Pro Champion, Rocket Pro Champion. He's seen a lot in St. Louis Anarchy, Zawa, a lot of different places. And, he's kind of like the veteran status, kind of guy on the independents right now. So I had a blast talking to him, man, and it was really cool to finally get to talk to him.
So
Yeah.
I'm not going to give the interview away, but give the interview away. It's coming up. But he talks about. I could listen to him talk and tell stories for another 2 hours. I was mad that the interview cut off after an hour. He talks about what it's like being a trainer and a wrestler, and it's fascinating. He had the coolest stuff to say.
All right, everybody. I'm excited for this one. Today's guest, he's had a few big months. Well, he's had a few big 6 months probably as a wrestler on the independent scene, and today he has had today he's here to talk about it, and he's got a lot of gold to prove all of that success. He is your current Journey Pro and Rocket Pro wrestling champion. I've seen this guy a lot in Zawa and at St. Louis Anarchy. He is Old Evil from Those Damn Coyotes. Christian Rose, man, thanks for being on the pod finally, man. We appreciate you coming, brother.
Pleasure to be here, man. I said something about it off air, but I apologize for being late. I work a lot.
It's okay, man. That's why we're here to work around your schedule, man. For sure.
Yeah, we have it's Sunday night. We don't have shit to do tonight.
Oh man, you're lucky.
Yeah, but like I said, man, thanks for being on, man. You got to be feeling pretty good right now, man. You're running around as champ, and not a lot of people in independent wrestling can say that, man. You're holding 2 pretty prestigious titles right now. Is this the summer of Christian Rose? Is this what's going on here?
I think it's definitely one of them. I've been around for a good long while, and I always talk about how certain wrestlers, you hear the phrase "so and so in their prime." And I go, well, there's a lot of guys that had multiple primes, Flair, I think, is one of those guys that had multiple primes, peaks and valleys, so to speak. But yeah, I think summer specifically of 2022 is one of mine, and I'm loving every second of it.
Well, tell us, Christian, you said you've been at it for a while now. So what year is this for being in the wrestling business for Christian?
Oh man, my first match would have been in March of 2006.
Wow.
Okay.
So yeah, we're at 16 years.
16 years. Yeah, I believe we got our math right there. Yeah. Okay.
Holy hell.
Nice. Made you realize it too, huh?
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about it for a good long bit. Jesus, I'm getting old. We're allowed to swear on this show, right?
Absolutely. Let her fly, man. We don't care.
Fucking A.
Yeah, fucking A. We say it all.
Yeah, my first match would have been in March of 2006 in a little town called Salem, Illinois. It was not good. I'm glad there's no footage of it. I know that at one point there was on this thing that used to exist, kids, called a VHS tape, where you would put a tape into a camera and you would use that to record things.
I understand that.
You had to rewind those and stuff, right?
Yes.
Before you took them back to the video store, or you get charged.
Yeah.
Video store?
Dude,
Never mind.
What a sham that whole "Be Kind, Please Rewind" thing was.
It was, dude. It was. It always made you feel like shit with that little sticker they put on the damn tape too, to remind you.
And I think it's funny too to think that back then people were like, "It's not a big deal, man. It just takes a few seconds," which is true. And now in 2022, that seems like the biggest inconvenience imaginable.
Yeah.
How dare you ask me to take 40 seconds of my life to restore this to the way it was when I borrowed it from you?
Right. Who am I to do that? So, all right. So it's been 16 years. You talk about your first match. Are you still doing a little bit of coaching now at the Zen of Wrestling Academy? Still doing some of that?
As much as I can, yeah. I know I mentioned a minute ago, my work schedule right now is absolutely bonkers, but it still allows me to have the weekends off, so I can still have my bookings and everything. So yeah, I do training as much as I possibly can. It's just super busy, life stuff at the moment. But I think now what's crazy is the first gen, so to speak, of Zawa students that I trained are really stepping up and helping train, along with some of the other guys that are there. Judd is a local guy who's been around for a while.
Yep.
Occasionally we'll get Bobby Houston will drop in when we can pry him out of his house, stuff like that.
I heard of his name.
He's great. Bobby Houston is one of the most underrated guys that the state ever saw, and just consummate professional. So, I mean, we've got a good rotating gaggle of guys that are experienced. And like I said, those first students are 4 or 5 years in at this point. So, they're teaching the same stuff that I taught them. So it's kind of that like grapevine effect, I guess. But yeah, I pop in as much as I can, and I always work on like the details, the basics, the fundamentals. I'm big on the subjective nature of wrestling, because I always try to teach my students, hey, this is the way that I was taught, or that I learned it from here or from there or from this guy or that guy. Not going to say this is right or wrong. There's countless ways to do this, but this is the way I'm going to show you how to do it. You know, there's only a few things like that I'm a stickler on. Like there's one or two different versions of headlocks, and I'm like, if there's one of them that I just can't stand, it's hard to describe on an audio medium, but
gotcha.
You guys lock your fucking fingers together on a headlock, or I will come through that curtain and start fucking kicking at you. Like
it's
not a lock. It's not a lock then if they're not locked, right?
Well, right. That's my take on it. Like there's this one that's real popular, and it just looks like you've got like, I think it's called an S grip. It probably is actually more realistic, but like the person's basically holding their right fist straight up in the air, and their left arm goes around the head, and then their left hand is in the crook of their right elbow. It looks cool. I hate it. I just hate it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm sure it works great for people more successful than me. I just can't stand it.
So,
I mean, really, that's got to make you proud though. Like when you see, these students that you taught, that they're taking what you taught them and they are now teaching others. That's got to feel pretty nice inside.
Oh, big time. I love watching any of my guys work matches, and I can see them because they're all very different individuals, which obviously, and they all have their own, even at this point, their styles and their quirks and their mannerisms and whatnot. But whenever I can see them doing something that I taught them, that I can remember them latching onto in training, it does make me very, very proud. Damien Deschain is a very gifted technical wrestler. And so I love technical wrestling, but I just don't ever get a chance to actually do it on shows because it's not my character. And frankly, people don't want to see me do it.
Gotcha.
That's not what they want from a Christian Rose match. But when I can show him how to do some cool holds or, escapes and reversals and transitions, and then I see him doing it in matches, I'm like, that's very cool. Bailey Bright is a guy that I think he very much loves the story aspect of matches. He very much loves the drama. I can see him picking things up from stuff that I taught about that. Connor Hopkins. Connor is a guy that I can see like in the best way possible, just lifting shit from my stuff. I love it. I love him to death. He's a very good friend of mine, but it's really cool. I never thought I would get into training. Honestly, that wasn't something that when it was even first broached to me that I was like initially interested in. Cause I was like, I don't want to be one of those guys that has like shitty students running around the Midwest. And then now it's basically like, most of them are pretty solid. You know what I mean? Like we've had our fair share of people that show up and then they're like, oh, this is hard. And they just quit.
And they bounce. Right. Yeah.
Like for me, day one of training, I try to make you quit. Like I go out of my way on day one to try to make people quit.
Yeah, it's a good way to weed them out quicker.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like it's not even that like rah brother thing, but I'm like, dude, you're gonna be in a situation with somebody eventually, and you're gonna have to be able to go in that ring. And if you can't, then that does come back on me. And I don't want anybody messaging me saying, hey, your kid can't hang. You know what I mean? Like, like, nope. I don't need that.
Gotcha. So, Christian, let's rewind a little bit, man. Who got you into wrestling? Who did you see on TV? What were you watching that made you want to go to training school yourself? I'm sure you were probably taught by somebody that tried to make you quit. I'm assuming. So talk to me about that.
The first time I ever saw wrestling that I can remember, and it made me want to do it, and I've told this story before, and I don't care, I'll tell it again, was the Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man Randy Savage incident with the Cobra biting Savage when he was hung up in the ropes. So I'm a kid, and like I grew up in the sticks. So we had 3 channels, you know what I mean? So this was obviously a syndicated show that we're watching.
Saturday Night's Main Event, I believe it was on.
Most like, that. I honestly, I couldn't even tell you what channel it was on. I was but I saw that, and I mean, we all know now that's a real snake biting that guy, and
sure.
I'm a kid, I'm a child, and I'm like, that is the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen, and so like, I'll never forget as long as I live. My mom was a big Randy Savage fan, and so she's just sitting on the couch and she's not really paying attention, doing whatever, and I'm like watching this snake bite this guy, and I was like, holy fuck. So like my first concept of what wrestling was, oh, there's no police. You can do anything.
you can have a snake bite someone.
Right. I was like, because I was a kid, but I understood that like that is a crime.
Yeah. That's
and
not
like,
something that's normal.
Right. So I start like spazzing out and I'm like pulling on my mom's leg, and I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And she was like, oh, you want to be like Macho Man, do the elbow drop. And I was like, no, I want to be the guy throwing snakes at people. So then I was all in when I was a kid until I went to school one day and somebody was like, it's not real. And I'm like in first grade at this point, and it just shattered me. So
like, go fuck yourself. Like, who says that to a first grader?
Well, it was another first grader.
Like, the same guy that told you Santa Claus wasn't real either. So
yeah. So
that kid was a
dickhead. At that point, I didn't watch for like most of the 90s until the Attitude Era. And then my dad had remarried, and I had a stepbrother who was in the same grade as me, which in a town as small as mine was pretty easy, honestly. I come downstairs and he's watching Raw one night, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to watch this because I'm still like bitter, like, oh, I was lied to, when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and he's like, dude, I know. I don't care. It's just awesome. And I was like,
yeah.
And but I didn't know that you could do that.
Right.
I didn't know
that's an option.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So I sat down, and then, man, I was just hooked hard.
Sure.
I would record, because when I was 16, I started working. I got a job, so I would record Raw on a tape. Come home, I would get home at like anywhere from 11 to midnight, and I would stay up and watch the replay of Nitro, when they would just run the replay like immediately after.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They pass that and watch the tape of Raw. So like every Tuesday, I'm still in high school. Every Tuesday, I'm coming into school just dog ass tired, And people are like, "You okay?" I was like, "I stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning watching wrestling," and they're like, "You don't need to do that." But yeah, and then I'd watch ECW when it got on TNN, or there was a syndicated show that we could sometimes pick up out of Indianapolis on like a channel that, sometimes the antenna would get. And I was just all in on it. And then I didn't know about the independents really until I started training. And I started training. I went to my job one day, and a buddy of mine that was all about wrestling as well was like, hey man, do you know there's a training school in a town called Paris, Illinois? It was only like, from where I grew up, it was only about 45 minutes. And I was like, what, for real? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go on Sunday. You want to go? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go. So that was what got me started. That place, it was super local. The guys did the best they could, but like, at the time I didn't know that they didn't really know.
No, right. Yeah.
I just want to be in the ring.
They have a ring. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a real wrestling ring. Well, that real wrestling ring was 14 by 14 feet, and it was homemade with concrete in the base of the ring posts.
Oh.
So, and no boards, plywood, and no padding, just carpet strips. And this,
God.
Yeah, dude. And this isn't me being like, back in my day or anything like that.
Sure, no, right.
We bumped on rocks and blah blah.
Yeah, that's not my point here when I tell you that. I'm just saying that's what that was. And so they were all just local guys. There wasn't anybody of any real note or anything. And the first day we were just, learning the basics. And I remember I called a buddy of mine afterwards, and I said, and he was like, how was it? And I go, my head hurts so bad, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, I couldn't get it right for shit. I went back the next week, and it was basically the same thing. I was like, oh my God, I want this so bad, but I'm so bad at it.
Sure.
And so the third week, I remember I walked in and I said to myself, if I leave here and I feel as bad as I did those first 2 weeks, I quit. I'm not coming back. This just isn't for me. And that third week when I left, I felt just a little bit better. Still not good, but and then it just, once I got those mechanics down, I was like, okay, now I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not hurting, whatever. And I had already kind of taught myself how to do the holds and the moves just from being a nerd.
Sure, right.
So
Yeah.
Like they go to teach us how to lock up, and I got it within like a minute, and that's a hard thing to actually teach. And they're like, oh, wow, what about this? And I was just doing the holds because I just watched a lot of wrestling,
You know how to lock up already?
Yeah. I basically had that figured out. Like they had to give me like a couple of corrections, but I had that like pretty much off the bat. I think I needed a couple of things on a headlock, but like arm ringers and the wrist locks and the hammer locks, I was like, yeah, I know how to do that. And I, again, they had to like tighten it up a little bit, but like for the, the basics of it, it's like, yeah, I can do that. And they're like, oh my God. I was like, holy cow. They're like, well, what about a suplex? And I was like, well, you hook them like this. And they're like, yeah, that's right. But you know what I mean? Like I just had studied all of that stuff, like just watching it incessantly. I was a fan of moves, when I first started.
Right. So Christian, as of today, how would you best describe your style if nobody's ever seen you wrestle before?
That's awesome that you asked, because I just recently was thinking about it and I coined this phrase.
Okay.
Technical brawling. That's the way that I would describe it. I'm a technical brawler in the sense that I do moves, but it's mostly just fighting. Like I like to do stuff where like I do things sometimes that I view as like being like a trap, like I did a thing recently where I was in the corner and a guy ran at me. I put the boot up, right? Mm-hmm. Oh God, I kicked him in the face. Well, he comes back. I go for it again. He catches it. Nope. Enziguri. So there's a lot of stuff like that for me where it's I try to just build a story based on the psychology of what we're doing. And yeah, man, I just like brawling. I am not the wrestler I thought I was going to be when I started at all.
Right, yeah.
I had the vision in my head of what I was going to be, and I'm pretty far away from it right
You're more into something else.
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to be like a Dean Malenko or a Benoit,
Okay.
Like I didn't want to talk. I did not want to talk at all, even though the trick is getting me to shut up. But yeah, man, I just wanted to do moves. I just wanted to be a submission guy and everything. And then as time went on, I was like, oh man, people kind of like when I just elbow and kick people, and they like if I throw some cool suplexes or, slams and stuff like.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to come up with just new ways to do something violent, I think is the best way to describe it.
Like innovative violence.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I like it.
So Christian, we've talked about it, man. You're 16 years, I think roughly is what we said into it. You're racking up some gold here. You're very prominent in a lot of Midwest promotions. Like I said, we see a lot at Zawa and St. Louis Anarchy, and your champs at Rocket Pro, Journey Pro. What does Christian Rose want out of wrestling the rest of his career looking right now?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I was just going to say, is there anything else? Are you good where you are? Or are you still on the thinking you want to go elsewhere?
I'm pretty happy with the way that things are right now. I think that like my main goals at this point are to try to just help other guys, because like I started training at 21, which by modern standards is like late. You know what I mean? Like there are guys, like, I mean, hell's bells, man. Like MJF is 26. And when I started out, I didn't have a veteran. I didn't have somebody traveling with me. I didn't have anybody helping me get bookings or anything. And again, that's not like a, oh, woe is me type of story. That's just what it was. So like my goal now is to just try to help those guys that, need it, like I like helping my students. I just had a thing at a show in Rockford for Adrenaline Pro. There was a cancellation, and there was a kid from Iowa named Jackson King, and he had rode along with somebody. And I was like, put him on the show, make him my tag partner. And he's only like I think he's only a year and a half in. So he was, he was like, oh man, for real. And I go, yeah, he's come to Zawa shows and stuff. I've met him. I've seen him. I was like, that kid wants to work and nobody else is going to give him, a shot. Put him on the show because I need a tag partner. My partner canceled. Put him on the show. Let him team with me. I guarantee you will get over. And the guy was like, okay. And so we did. We had a really good tag match and the bit got over, and he was very appreciative of it. And it's like, that's the stuff that I want to do now, where I want to help other people in the ways that I was not able to be helped. And there's a few points that I want to make so far as like what I think wrestling is, or maybe not what it should be, because I'm never going to say that, ultimately it should be just something that makes money. But I think what it can be, a lot of the stuff that I've done at Journey Pro has been very, very story based. And I'll go to my grave saying that stories draw money in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I can do some stuff, right? But I'm not going to get gift. I'm not that type of wrestler. You're never going to see me do cool flips. And I think that's all well and good. There's definitely a market for that. But I think that the idea of like, a lot of people have paid money to see me get beat up because they want to see it, and a lot of people have paid money to see me beat somebody up because they want to see it. And I think that if I can have any sort of like, after effect or anything, I just want people to realize that can still happen on the independent level. Like you can tell a 3-show story, you can tell a 6-show story, you can tell a year-long story. And if you do it correctly with the right people, it will generate buzz, it will sell tickets, it will get people talking, and it will ultimately make money. It will build promotions, it will build careers. And that's that, and just helping out people that need the help is the thing that I want to work on at this point. Like I'm comfortable. Guys, I've done some cool shit. I wrestled Vader. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Which I was going to ask you about that here shortly, but I'm going to give you the Primo here shortly for some out of the ring questions. But talking about helping people, Christian, let's talk about the Coyotes, man. Let's talk about TDC. We've had Connor on before. I know Berna and Damien as well. So tell me what it's like being in this faction. I think I'm probably going to quote this wrong, but you can. I think Connor told me that you said you guys are a faction for all the small towns in Illinois that are 1,000 people or less, or something like that.
The line was I used it in a promo one time for Journey a couple years ago. The Midwest is more than just Chicago and St. Louis and Indianapolis and Kansas City. It's 100,000 towns of 1,000 people or less.
There you go.
And the TDC thing, I stand by that, by the way. I truly do believe that. Like, I know that promo's online somewhere, but like that's one where I was like in the zone, you know what I mean? Like I was on fire with that. Sure. But the TDC thing, man, like the 4 of us, we just have good chemistry. Like they're all 3 of my students. They're all 3 radically different people in and out of the ring. And it might have actually been I think it was actually Connor's idea initially, but I know at one point we were just sitting around one night hanging out. It's like, man, it would be really fucking cool if we were just a faction. Sure. And then it became, we were just talking about, it's like, oh wait, there is something to that. Cause it's like, okay, well, Connor's a very good, just overall professional wrestler, right? Like he has a good look. He's great on the mic. Definitely. Damien is a great technical wrestler. Berna is just nuts. I love the kid to death, but he is insane. Like the stuff that he can do athletically, I think people don't really appreciate. He's deceptively athletic, and he's almost too proud to know that he's hurt, And then I was like, well, and then I'm bigger and more experienced than you guys. So I was like, there's a really cool dynamic there. And I had started doing a coyote bit on my own. And then it just became, well, what if we were those damn coyotes, And that just kind of snowballed out of conversation. And then we started doing it at Rocket Pro. And then now we're in Zawa, and we're going to basically any place that'll have us, Like I'm not going to speak out of church or anything, but I know I've had at least 2 different promotions be like, "Hey, what if we brought in the Coyotes?" It's like, yes, bring in the Coyotes.
Sure.
Because I think that the 4 of us are versatile enough that you can do. Any one of us can give you a good match in a 1-on-1. We can do a cool 8-man. We can do a cool 6-man. We can do a cool tag. And the combinations there are always going to be different.
Right.
Yep.
I love it, man. And here's Primo with your t-shirt on. So there's a good segue to
represent.
To kick it out to Primo here. He's got some fun questions for you.
Yeah, I'm not even in Illinois either. I'm over in Virginia. So
yeah, he's representing on the East Coast, Christian. Yeah, he's whole new market.
Love it.
All right, Christian. So we're gonna go outside the ring just a little bit here. Let's start off with a pod favorite here for the boys. Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris?
Well, wait. Just in general?
Yeah. In general, there's no prerequisite.
Oh man, I got to go Bruce Lee. I think. Yeah. Got to go Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He made better movies. Sometimes I like watching trash, but
yes,
but
that's fair.
Bruce has made a hard comeback lately, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
For a long time, people were all going
Chuck Norris. Like, no, you're all wrong.
I mean, like the Chuck Norris jokes are funny, and Walker Texas Ranger. I mean, it's several seasons of the same episode of the show, but
there's your trash TV right there too.
Yeah. That theme song slaps, as the kids say.
Yeah, I mean that's
what reeled you in.
It's my childhood. Another one. We have a t-shirt of this one, so we got to ask: pancakes or waffles?
There is a right answer to this one, by the way.
There is?
Yes, there
is not. There is not a right answer. There's an answer that AJ wants you to say.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to answer, but then I need to explain myself. I'm going to say waffles.
God damn it.
But here is why. Waffles don't happen very often in my life, so I view them more as a special occasion. Pancakes happen when I'm at a Denny's or an IHOP or, God forbid, a Waffle House. And I can do like 2 or 3 of them, and then I'm like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's acceptable, I suppose.
By the way, it's blueberry pancakes and or blueberry waffles.
Agreed.
So it has to be blueberry. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
gotcha.
Fair.
That's a good segue into this next question, which I know you have a lot of miles traveled on you, so you've had a lot of diner stop-ins. But out of those 3, IHOP, Waffle House, or Denny's, which is your top pick?
Denny's.
I agree with that.
Like
Denny's by a considerable margin. Then IHOP, then a steep cliff, and then Waffle House.
Why do people love Waffle House so much? I don't understand it.
I've never been to one because I always heard they're just trash. They're like
just gross.
I've always heard they're like the best trash place you can go to.
Yeah,
I mean, but like the thing is, like I maintain that what they should do is just lean into that on their marketing and just be like, all of our cooks are stoned on something. Maybe it's legal, maybe it's not. Our servers wander in and out of this place. Maybe you'll get your food. Maybe
they might check on you.
Right. You're probably going to see
for the experience. Maybe the food happens.
Right. You're going to see a good fight while you're there between 2 drunk people, probably pissed off. Or somebody's baby's mama or something.
Come to Waffle House with only a 50% chance of food poisoning.
I will say, any place that does all you can eat pancakes, it's one of the best scams ever. Because again, let's be honest, you're having 3 pancakes.
Right.
Yeah, and then you're done.
Max.
And then you're going to be like, oh, this is kind of full, and this isn't that good anymore.
Right. You're like, I'm on a sugar high.
I regret my decisions.
Do you have any weird food combinations? Additionally, are there any foods that you just won't eat?
Any foods that I just won't eat? Mushrooms.
Fair.
Yes. I agree.
I won't eat mushrooms. I will never in my life ever again have oysters on the half shell.
Good.
I like seafood. Tried that once. I was like, nope, just not good. Weird food combinations. I work at a restaurant, so I see a lot of these. and some of them piss me off, quite frankly, because I like barbecue sauce on eggs.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I don't know if that's weird or not. If you haven't tried it, guys,
is it scrambled or is it yolk? Like
scrambled.
Yolk? It's scrambled. Okay.
I feel like to some that could be weird, but I mean, think about like a slam burger, so a breakfast burger, or even like I eat hot sauce and everything else on my eggs. So I'm right there with you. Yeah.
I'll see. I'm totally a barbecue sauce on everything, and I have put barbecue sauce on eggs before.
I'm more like particular about like just the way that I eat things. Like I eat eggs every day, but I only eat scrambled eggs. I like a good burger and I like eggs, but when people put an egg on a burger, I'm like, no, miss me with that. I like pizza that doesn't have pizza sauce on it. So like, I mean, I'll eat pizza, don't get me wrong, but like I made pizza one time and it was barbecue sauce for the base, bacon, chicken, and pineapple.
Delicious.
Okay.
I know pineapple is a hot topic when it comes to pizza toppings, but goddamn, that was good, guys.
Yeah. I've had like buffalo chicken pizza with buffalo sauce on it. It's pretty good.
Oh, I love a pizza with barbecue sauce on it as the base.
Do you have any pet peeves that'll just like set you off? Like, like people that chew loudly or talk on speakerphone or some stupid shit like that?
Or try to do stupid, headlocks that don't actually connect.
Goddamn headlocks.
Slurp on a straw.
People who don't know how a four-way stop works.
There we go. Here comes
one.
some Midwest. Here comes some Midwest driving.
I spend so much time at the wheel, and I'm just like, every time I come to one, I'm like, and I see other people pulling up, I'm like, one of you is going to fuck this up, and it ain't me. It's so easy. And then there's always that guy who's waving me ahead for no reason, and I want to be like, bro, you're here first. You don't have to do this. You're not helping me.
It's your turn.
Get out of this goddamn intersection and live your life, Earl. Like, I can't stand it.
Come on, Earl.
I could be having the best day, and I will be coming up to a four-way stop, and I'll see three other cars coming up, and I'm like,
oh goddamn!
I'll just give that big.
No.
There's going to be two people here that are going to get it. One of them is going to be me. One person's going to wait for the other ones to get it, and that fourth person is going to fuck this up.
Right. All right. So, would you rather it be a roundabout? What's your feelings on roundabouts?
Yeah, I love roundabouts.
I initially was fervently against them. My town actually just recently put one in the past couple of years, and I was like, "Oh no, we're all going to die." And now I'm on board. I am
right.
Like, I have been converted to a believer on the roundabouts.
Yep.
It fixes the awkwardness of the four-way stop, right?
Yeah.
And if you fuck up and miss, you just go around.
It's one of those where like,
I know one more time.
The first time I ever like kind of sort of dealt with them, even though I wasn't driving, I did a tour in England back in 2017 for a place called Mega Slam Wrestling, and there obviously roundabouts all over.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw one, I was like riding up front of the van. And so we've got like 8 guys and a ring in this van. And I see a roundabout and I was like, what fresh hell is this? They're like, what do you mean, Mike? And I was like, how do you know where you're going? And they're like, what do you mean? I go, it's a circle. What if we just don't leave? And they're like, what?
What if that's just where you live now in the circle?
Just drive in a circle forever. But now I get it. Now, I'm on board.
All right.
So, I see you enjoying the champagne and beers there, but what first thing in the morning when you first get up, what do you have? Coffee, energy drink, pre-workout? What's your drink of choice when you first get out of bed?
Coffee. A lot of coffee. Hot damn. I had one day recently where I committed the ultimate sin. I'd ran out of coffee and hadn't bought any the day prior, and I wanted to die. Yeah, coffee.
That's fair.
Are you a black coffee drinker, or do you put a bunch of shit in?
Not a bunch of shit. I'll put a little bit of cream in, like maybe a half of a tablespoon,
like
for like a thermos.
Yeah.
My boss one day was like, "How are you in here so just bopping around all the time in the morning?" I go, I don't know what you mean. She's like, "Do you drink a lot of coffee?" And I go, "I have one of these." And I hold up like a tumbler or whatever, right?
Like
She goes, well,
that's it.
how much is in that? And I go, well, I set the maker on 6. And she's like, for a pot? And I go, yeah. She goes, you're drinking 6 cups of coffee before you come to work? And I go, no, I'm drinking 6 cups of coffee while I do my cardio in the morning. Then I refill this and I come in to work.
Oh.
You're drinking 12 cups of coffee before lunch.
Gets the heart racing.
Yeah. All right. I got you one more for you before I pass you back to the boys. So we're halfway through the year now. We're in June. What has been your vibe for this year? Like, what has been the mood? What have you been trying to set off in 2022?
Man, my vibe, I think, for 2022 has just been work hard and be happy. You know, like I've done a lot of shit this year that I didn't think I would get to do. And that's just my mindset. Like, I don't care what it is that a person wants. If it's wrestling, great. If it's something else, great. Just work hard and fucking get it. You know, like, I'm a big ATV guy. I bought a brand new 4-wheeler this year. And I was fuck that. I want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I pay my bills. I punch in, I punch out. I do a good job at my job. You know, I do a good job at wrestling as best of my abilities as I can, and go home and be happy. You know, I think that's my vibe for 2022 is just work hard and be happy. Just work hard and get what you want.
Yeah, that's definitely good. That's a good message too. A lot of people lose track of that.
Yeah. Like I think that for me, I'm big on have a goal, right? And I don't care what the goal is. Like, I teach this to new students when they come to training. I don't care what your goal is. If your goal is to main event WrestleMania, awesome. If your goal is to just be on a show, great. But you need to work as hard as you possibly can for that specific goal. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not going to judge someone's goal. I don't care what your goal is. But if I see somebody and their in game is they just want to be, Zao Alive tag team champion. Okay, but they're half-assing it. No, get out of my ring, get out of my world. You know. But if I see somebody that wants to be the main event of WrestleMania, I'm like, bro, you better work really hard for a long time and be really lucky. You know, like, more power to you. But when I see people just being lazy, don't get me wrong. I like to have a day or so every so often where I'm like, I ain't doing nothing.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I may not leave this couch. I may watch 5 movies today.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Primo, you got anything else, man?
No, that's it. Back to you guys.
All right. So, Christian, I got a couple questions for you, man. I just want you to kind of shoot some answers to me. Other than the main event, where's your favorite place to wrestle on a card?
Opener.
Give
me the crowd. Opener. Man.
Set the tone.
Sign me up. One, I like being in the opener from a creative standpoint because you don't know what that crowd wants. So you kind of just have to have an idea and see, and then you can tell everybody else, hey, they like this, they don't like that, whatever, and help the rest of the card out. I also like it because then I'm off work and I can hang out and I can party.
True.
I can get out of my gear, I can rest.
I think I might have heard you say before, your boy's on the opener. I'm getting fucked up tonight or something.
Dude, yep, absolutely. I think that was at Anaheim. Yeah.
Probably, because that's where me and AJ seen you at most. So that's great.
What's funny is I'll hit up boss man Matt Jackson the week of every Anarchy show and just be like, hey, where am I at on the card? Just asking details. And I'll do it a couple days before the show because I know he's busy the day of. Like, me and him have known each other for 15 years or something at this point, maybe.
Right.
The one that the week of that show, he came back and said, your dreams finally come true. You're in the opener. And I said, my God.
All right. Well, I got an Anarchy question for you. Will you ever be done feuding with the family?
Yeah. Well, I finally got my match coming up with Greg Jovi.
Right.
So as soon as we're done painting the town red with his blood, that'll be done. I think that, like, I actually love the family stuff. I absolutely loved it. I love doing.
It's been a great storyline.
I absolutely loved it. There was some stuff like I'd been a villain there for so long that when the idea of like flipping it was brought up to me, I was kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I was a little hesitant, but now I'm much more comfortable in that role. I think the audience has taken to it. So, yeah, I very much enjoyed that story and everything. But yeah, it's weird too because now I think to myself like, well, now what? Yeah,
now what? Yeah, because you've been wrestling Moonshine and Jake and yeah, you've been going through the whole gauntlet with them. So
yeah. So speaking of now what, I have a quick question for you. So Dreamwave is making a little comeback. Are you gonna be making an appearance at the Dreamwave show?
Brother, I am Dreamwave.
Thank you. I wanted it confirmed because I was super excited. Like we've been talking about the Dreamwave card for a while now, and we're like, is Christian gonna be? I fucking better be on it because otherwise, it's not a Dreamwave show without Christian Rose on it.
So, like, fun fact: the original date of that, I was approached about, and I was like, "Guys, I'm going on a vacation." They're like, what? And I was like, yeah, like I've already put down a deposit and everything. Like for the first time in my adult life, I'm going on a vacation.
Sure.
And it was like, well, what are we going to do? And I go, I legit was like, there's plenty of stars that have been Dreamwave. You can, it'll be fine. You can do this without me.
Nope.
They changed the date.
Goddamn right they did.
Stroke. Look at the stroke.
Which I was like, okay, cool. Like you did not have to do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I was just kind of like, no, guys, I've already put money down on these cabins. I'm not leaving. Like,
yeah. I'm sure you're happy though. You wanted to be a part of that for sure.
Of course I did. Yeah, I didn't want to miss out on it at all. That it was just unfortunately it was able to be switched before anything had been set or people have been contacted or anything. So
sure.
But yeah, I'm very excited for it. Like that place made me, you know what I mean? Like I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for it. Jay was the guy that took a pretty big gamble on me and it paid off. Like, we did very well there. I got a lot of really cool opportunities. I don't think I ever shit the bed on any of them. But yeah, like that, like I touched on it earlier. I've gotten to do a lot of really cool stuff in wrestling. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful for it. And the vast majority of those are because of that run at Dreamwave, that first couple of years there. So I'm always going to owe a lot to Jay and to that company.
So if somebody had to make you pick a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, Christian, who's going to be your 4 that you put up there?
Can I ask one question before I answer? Is this my personal Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, this is
the Mount Rushmore.
Your personal.
Let's go with your personal. I think a lot of people's might, be the same when we go as far as looking at wrestling as a whole. But you personally, your top 4.
Oh man, I can't wait to make everyone mad. Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Randy Orton.
Love it. I love this so far.
Christian, my namesake, and Jake Roberts.
Outstanding.
That's a great lineup.
I'm all in 3 or 4.
I know, me too. 3 out of 4. I'm like, yep, I agree with those.
So here's my logic behind all of these. So Jake Roberts was the guy that got me hooked and very much influenced my promos.
Perfect.
Because in that era, there was a lot of guys that were just like yelling and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just talk. And I thought that was so much cooler and so much more engaging because you had, that was still the era of like, Prime Hogan and Warrior and people just be like, Sunday, May 25th, I'm going to break your body into dust. And then Jake Roberts. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Get Jake Roberts talking about wallowing in the muck of avarice. And, yeah.
My favorite.
So he's a big influence on me because I just love that that cadence in those promos. In my mind, I don't think Jake Roberts ever had a match that I liked, quite frankly. He had ones that were like, some good, some bad, but I'm never gonna be like, oh man, he tore it up out there.
Sure.
For me, Christian, Christian is the reason that I chose Christian as my ring name. I think that he is the ultimate victim of the curse of the bad worker. The dude has good matches all the time and just he will never get the credit he deserves for it at all. Randy Orton. I am a gigantic Randy Orton.
Now, wait a second. Where did Rose come from? Playboy Buddy? What are we talking here?
No.
Like, where'd that come from?
The Rose thing actually came from a series of Stephen King books called The Dark Tower.
Across the desert, the gun or the man in black.
Now you're in AJ and Primo's wheelhouse now.
Yes, you are.
So if by the way, if you look at my gear, most of my gear throughout the years, like Tights and anything custom, has the eye logo.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Some of your t-shirts too, I've seen. Yeah.
Some of the t-shirts. Yep, absolutely. Always got to keep that going. Where was Orton? I think that Orton is the closest to a perfect professional wrestler that I have seen in my life. The guys, but here's the thing. For me, it's the nuanced shit that I get so hung up on. Everything is positioned for the hard cam. Everything is crisp. Everything is clean. Like, I understand that there are some valid complaints about his stuff where it's like, oh, he does the same stuff all the time. Bro, I don't care. It's over. You know,
Right.
Like, he doesn't take unnecessary risks. He's one of the safest guys that they've ever had. I just think that, like, if I could have anyone's career, that's the fucking one that I want. It's also because, part of it's also like, oh man, he's a tall, lanky guy like me, you know?
It's a Tom Brady-esque type career in wrestling. when you kind of compare.
What was it? A couple months ago, he broke the record for like most pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
And then most matches on Raw, of all time.
It's like over 900 or something.
Yeah. Like the longevity is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is my overall favorite wrestler of all time.
Mine too.
That was a guy that, like, when I got back in to wrestling in the late 90s, right? I saw him in WCW, and I was like, that guy's awesome. I just loved it because, like, he could do all the cool stuff.
Sure.
But he would talk, and it was funny. And sometimes I was like, I don't even know what he's referencing. But there was just something there that I wanted to, like, see. So then when he jumped ship, it was like the day after my birthday in 99. I remember that. I was like, oh my God, you know, because that's one of the best debuts ever.
Sure.
The promo with The Rock, it was great. And then I'm just a fan of how much he reinvents himself over and over.
Yeah.
And over.
So many versions of him.
And he always finds something in each version that takes off every single time, but he's still Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
My favorite feud of all time is Jericho and Shawn in 2008.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I tell all my students, go back and watch this, because if you do, the reason that Jericho turns makes sense. And if you actually go back and watch it, like, from outside the bubble, so to speak, Jericho is the good guy at the beginning of it. Shawn Michaels lies about being injured.
Yeah.
Jericho says, you're lying. Shawn says, no, I'm not. Jericho believes him. Then Shawn reveals, I was lying. I'm not really hurt. And Jericho is pissed off about it. And then somehow he's the bad guy. Where if you watch it from outside, you're like, no, wait a minute. Shawn's the asshole here. Like, you know, there's a line in a promo that I always reference with the new guys where I go, you got to make stuff make sense. You know, you got to, everything's got to tie together. Where Jericho says to Shawn, I know you're hurt. I know it in my heart. And that's when Shawn reveals that he's fine. And I'm like, that's why he turned.
Right.
He bought the lie. He was made a fool, like, and I think that's the kind of stuff that I just absolutely love.
All right, so Christian, we normally don't take questions from outsiders on this pod. We usually just kind of stick to us here, but we decided to make an exception for this one. We got a question from a guy named Connor Hopkins. So his question is, he wanted me to ask you about you. You stole some Ring of Honor DVDs from him. You care to explain this story, sir?
Okay. I didn't steal a goddamn thing from him. He is no, one of our friends had a bunch of Ring of Honor DVDs and said he was going to sell them and was looking for somebody to just buy them. So he offered it to, our circle of friends and was like highest bid. So I was like, man, I have no responsibilities and disposable income. So I just immediately bid super high and just blew everything out. $200. You know what I mean? So I bought those and he was like, you son of a bitch. And I was like, I've got it. You don't. Fuck you.
Sorry, Connor.
So then another one of our friends from Zawa, actually, Stumpy.
Okay.
Stumpy.
I did not know that he had talked to Connor about this, but he hit me up and was like, hey, I saw you bought all those other ROH DVDs. I've got a bunch too. Do you want to buy them? And I was like, well, maybe. What do you got? So he sends me a picture of like a box of DVDs. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. Like, what are you looking for? And he's like, oh, I don't know, $20. I go, sold. Absolutely sold. So I don't know that evidently maybe Connor had said something to him, but it was after this arrangement had been made, as I understand it. So then we're at the next show, which was the big anniversary show.
Okay.
And again, not on purpose or anything, but directly in front of Connor's face, Stumpy walks up to me and hands me this crate of Ring of Honor DVD. And I go, here you go, Stump. And I hand him a $20 bill. And Connor's jaw is just on the floor. And he's like, what are you doing? I go, I don't know. I'm buying these DVDs off the stuff. You son of a bitch. I want them. I go, well, I bought them. You just watched me do that. So, no, these are mine now.
Once again, Connor, I got them.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about the story. Connor had just asked us to politely ask you about, about the Ring of Honor DVD. So
I told him I'd be happy to go through both lots and see if I had any doubles, and I would sell those.
Right. Yeah.
Recoup some of my investment.
Just make a bunch of copies of the Ted Petty Invitational and just sell them to him every so often.
That's all he's going to watch anyways. Also, by the way, he, I believe, still has, my girlfriend had a copy of the 2004 Ted Petty Invitational on VHS.
Oh, wow.
Owned to him, and I believe he still has it, which I will be getting back.
All right, Kristen, a couple more, and I'm going to let you get out of here, man. What's your favorite part about being an independent wrestler, and what do you fucking hate about it?
My favorite part is honestly the creative freedom. Okay. Like you can be, like when you're a kid, you're always told like, oh, you can be anything you want to be when you grow up. Well, you kind of can't, but you can through professional wrestling, specifically independent wrestling. Like if you wanted to be a dinosaur when you were a kid, guess what? You can do that in wrestling.
Sure.
There's one on TV every week right now.
Yeah.
That's a topic on our podcast.
Yes, it is.
So the creative aspect of it is the stuff that I love so much. Like honestly, that's what keeps me going. Just be like, how can we do this? What's what is our audience? What's going to compel the audience? What's going to hook them? What's going to drive them away? Sure. The parts that I hate, man, I wish I could narrow it down to just one. But, if I were to put what I dislike in the one umbrella, it's the people either in the ring, backstage, promoters, whatever, that are just not self-aware. Like if you don't have a lot of experience, at any capacity to this, that's fine. Don't act like you do. Just be like, hey, I'm new, I'm rusty, whatever. Everything that pisses me off, honestly, is just a lack of self-awareness. Like I don't think there's any shame in running a small company or a small show. Yeah. Just say, hey, this is a small thing. It's a shoestring budget. That's fine. If it's a vanity project, I don't give a fuck. As long as everyone's getting paid, no one's getting hurt, and everyone's having a good time. Just say, yeah, man, I just want to do this because I love it. I don't care if I lose money. Just be honest, be self-aware, like I've had matches with guys before and been like, hey, how's your cardio? And they'll be like, oh yeah, it's good. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, brother, I don't get tired in my matches. Few and far between. And then middle middle of the match, guys sucking air. And I'm like, man, I asked,
Yeah,
like
I thought you said you were all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Why are
don't
you
have to
blowing
lie,
up?
like, yeah, exactly. You don't have to lie to me. Just tell me I get winded. That's fine. We will have a completely different match,
Right.
like,
We can work through that. Sure.
sure. And it's just, there's a lot of that, because I think people, there's a lot of pride and it borders on arrogance sometimes, with independent wrestling. And I just wish that people would be like, here's what I'm good at. Here's what I'm bad at. Here's the show that I run. Here's the show I don't run. Just be self-aware and just be forthcoming about your strengths and your weaknesses. I think that's the shit that pisses me off.
Gotcha. Are you so are you watching WWE, AEW? You keeping up with everything mainstream right now? You got
honestly,
time for that?
I don't watch much of the WWE product at all anymore. It just doesn't hook me right now.
Sure.
I'm not trying to be like that guy or anything. There's just nothing where I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I want to see that.
Everybody likes what they like.
Yeah. I watch AEW when I can. I like the product much more than I like WWE. Like leaps and bounds, I like it more. It's far from perfect. I'm not one of those people at all, but there's just more there that I personally enjoy. I like that the matches more often than not have finishes.
Yeah.
I like that even if it's a bullshit explanation as to what's happening, there's an explanation as to what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you can tell me that a wizard made this match. I'll be like, oh, cool, wizard
Yeah.
made it. But whenever I see a match, I'm like, why is this happening? Is there a wizard? Tell me about the wizard.
Right.
Who made that turnbuckle break, Finn?
Right.
What was that? Why was- like I bitched about that on shameless plug here, my own podcast. What are we even doing that I do with Damien?
Right.
And I brought that up on a recent episode where I go, you know how easy that is to just wrap up? Just the next week's have someone say, folks, we apologize for the faulty ring equipment. It will never happen again.
Yeah.
So 2.5 fucking seconds, and I can just say, oh, that's it.
That's an explanation.
It's not a great one.
No, it's
at all,
terrible.
but
Right.
it's something.
Yeah.
Right.
At least
Yeah.
we're acknowledging that weird thing that happened.
Right. That it was an accident or storyline or something.
Where God
Like, yeah.
smote the demon or something.
Right. Oh, all right, Christian, man. Before we get out of here, man, where are you going to be at here coming up soon, towards the end of June and July, man? You got some shows coming up?
Off the top of my head, I'm very old fashioned, so I keep all my dates written down on an actual calendar. But
Nice.
Okay.
I will be at St. Louis Anarchy June 17th and 18th for the Dingo Invitational Tournament.
Perfect.
And I will be wrestling in Terre Haute, Indiana for New Wave Pro on Sunday the 19th. So a rare triple shot for old boy here.
How about it? How about it? Opening match only, all those promoters, if you're listening out there. My boy only takes opening match bookings.
I believe I'm actually in a title match at New Wave Pro, so it'll be cool to start the show hot with a championship match.
It will. They'll love it. The locals will love it.
But yeah, so it'll be cool to get back around my old stomping grounds. I grew up not that far from Terre Haute. That was like the closest big city
Nice.
that I had.
And Paris, where you went for training, that's across the border, not very far from Terre Haute, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about a 20-minute drive, I think, from Paris to Terre Haute. So,
yep.
Yeah, those are the ones that I know off the top of my head. Rocket Pro takes a summer break, so they're off until September.
So you're just racking up days with the title, then, aren't you? Until
I know.
Until...
Right? My stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't want to get it wrong, but I believe Journey Pro is on the 24th of June.
Nice.
That sounds right. Yeah.
That's a Friday. Does that sound right?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. 24th. So don't want to spoil it here in case it's not announced yet, but match is going to be awesome. Stay tuned.
Right. Yeah.
All right, looking forward to it. And also you can we always connect with you on Facebook. You have any other social media accounts other than Facebook?
I use the our What Are We Even Doing Here podcast Twitter account. Every so often I'll dip in and out of there. If you want to get at me, you can there. It's at WAWED pod on Twitter. I'm still on Snapchat because I'm a 14-year-old girl in the year 2015. But you can find me on Snapchat at Bitter Lunatic. I don't know. I post kind of the same stuff on there more often than not, but sometimes I'll just scream and rant about shitty customers at my job on there too. So
Nice.
Those are always popular.
We'll go follow you just for that reason only.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man,
I'm doing it right now.
Hell yeah, brother. I think it was last year. I went ape shit on my Snapchat about the price of Cadbury eggs. Guys, I want this.
Well, that was worth the ad alone.
But yeah, I think that's about it for me on the social medias. Yeah, I'm a little bit more private, I think, than I used to be when I was younger. But yeah.
Good deal. All right, Christian, man, we really do appreciate you coming on the pod, man. We finally got to talk to you, man. Made it happen. And man, it's awesome to see you with those 2 belts, man. And you're having a great summer, man. I hope that all this success continues to go for you. Maybe somewhere down the line we see maybe a 3rd or a 4th title, man. Let's just rack them all up, man.
Yeah, like little Midwest belt collector.
Hell yeah. I got to make a run at Hartenbauer for that Zawa belt soon.
That I would love to see that feud. That would work for me. Absolutely. I'll take that one, man. But it was good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being on the pod, dude. And we're going to catch up with you here real soon, man. And we'll see you out there at a show here very, very shortly. Thanks for being on the pod, dude.
Thanks, man.
Sounds great. See y'all later.
Thanks, Christian.
Man, that was just awesome. Like AJ said, we could have kept talking to him for a long time. I'm ready to see this guy more. More like in more promotions. He's. I don't know if anybody else right now, on the independents that's carrying the champ belts like he is. So he's kind of picking up steam, man. Like I said, it's the summer of Rose right now. It kind of feels like so.
Yeah, which I'm all in for it. Let's go.
Yep. And Christian Rose is he's on a lot of different promotions, and also right now he is like I said, he's catching fire. So if you're in the Midwest scene right now, you're going to see him. He is going to be in the Dingo Invitational this weekend for St. Louis Anarchy. Yeah. So go check him out, man. And we really want to thank Christian for coming on the pod, and can't wait to see him out there for the next show. All right, AJ, if you're ready, sir, it's time to close the show.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
You can catch us Sit Down Marks right here on YouTube every Wednesday live, and you can come chat with us and do some things. Or if you feel so inclined, we're not your mamas. You can listen to us on all the podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google, so on and so forth. Also, we have merch over at tpublic.com/stores/sitdownmarks. And we have a couple of new designs out made by one Mr. Primo down there, and they're really cool. So go check them out. Again, that link is tpublic.com/stores/sitdownmarks.
Primo, give us that preview of next week, sir.
All right, Marks, come on in. Sit down like you're supposed to be doing already. We'll give you the preview of next week. We're going to kick it off with our Impact Wrestling Slammiversary reactions. I gave you the card earlier. It's going to go down this weekend, and we will react to said card. We'll move on to Starrcade 92 to review Vader versus Sting, and Promo School returns once again. Since the fans love it just about as much as I love unicorns, you're damn right I do. I have a 7-year-old daughter. I love unicorns, okay? But the big announcement for this week is that Midwest UPS driver and wrestler Chris Slammer will join us to talk about the huge CCW show next weekend in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and talk about his career thus far Join us next week. Thank you all for downloading and subscribing. Once again, I do love them unicorns.
AJ, if you can stop giggling long enough, take us home.
grab those cakes.
So I got rid of the Thump underwear, and I decided to buy the Thump loincloths instead.